Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lost Planning the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, small law firm in central Minnesota. How's it going, guys? Oh my goodness. How's it going? This trial is this trial's taking way too long. Way too long. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, that's how I feel. Every day that the jury doesn't come back. They don't come back. The jury's like, Dad, yeah, I'm going to go get some cigarettes. I'll be right back, Junior. I'll be right back. Will you? Will you, Dad? Will you be back? Just going down the block, right? You've been gone for 3 days. For 3 days you've been gone, Dad. Where are you going? I have a feeling like sometime next century, I'll be like, yeah. I mean, any day now they'll have a Potter verdict. Oh my goodness. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's too much. I don't understand why it's taking so long. To me, this is a simple question. At the end of the day, it's a simple question of is this a reckless act? I mean, that's it. Is drawing the gun, firing it into Dante Wright a reckless act? Because if it's reckless, then she's guilty. If it's not reckless, it's not guilty. Or if she's legally justified to put rounds into this crazy person who's trying to drive off with police officers in the car, then she's also not guilty. Seems like both are true to me. But what do I know? What do I know? Not enough is the answer. But yeah, they are taking way too long. I thought we would be done, Monday, Tuesday. Thought this would be like a 2-hour, 3-hour verdict. Not that tough. Either way, again, it's even if you're going to find guilt. Like, because what is there to still debate at this point for this jury? What are they arguing over? Either you think she deserves to go to prison or you don't. And at this point, like, I'm not... I mean, I guess obviously there's some people who feel strongly both ways, right? Like, that's the rub. But that being said, we are stuck with what we're stuck with. And I think the judge giving them an out, I think is a huge mistake. Oh, yeah. Oh, you'll be able to go home to your families? Yeah, of course you will. And you can come back after Christmas. It'll be fine. And take Sunday off too. And Saturday. Yeah, come on back. Okay. I mean, come on. Just come back on Monday. And then you can continue never deciding anything. Because that's how we do it in Minnesota. Oh, put me out. I'm done. But we'll be there. So anyway, the reason I'm complaining about this is pretty simple. I'm exhausted. I do a nighttime show. Although I'm sure there are plenty of people who'd be like, no, you don't, lol. This channel was built on a nighttime show at this time slot for a while now, a long while. And I like it that way. I like it here. Obviously, the trial watch has to happen when trials are going on. And so that means that I'm running double shifts and really long shifts during the day. I don't like that it sometimes interferes with the night show, but after after 3 weeks straight of this stuff, it's just tough to keep up the double schedule every night. So I do apologize for not having a show last night, but I was sitting there watching a movie with Lady Rackets and 3 of the 5 kids. And we're watching ooh, Star Trek Nemesis. Ooh. Ooh. Not great. Not a great film. But we were watching that, and well, I guess I don't know. I missed about half of it because I just right in the middle of it. It was it was tough. Tough to, but I don't like, I don't like falling asleep during family time. And so I needed to take the night off, get a little bit of rest. And I did. I did. I felt better today. Still tired. Still am, but that's fine. But here we are for tonight's show, and I'm gonna stop whining about how tired I am in just a minute, and we're gonna get into it. So we got a couple things to look at, and I'm not 100% sure where to go with it because I've got a bunch of super chats from yesterday and today, and the super chats. The reason I like them, some people are. Some people are like, do read them definitely, and other people are like, don't read them, just let it go or whatever. But I like them because they bring up interesting topics and they make me laugh. Two things I'm desperately interested in is having something to talk about that people are interested in, and also my personal enjoyment, which is critical. Because if I'm having fun, then I'm having fun. And if I'm having fun, I care a little bit less about if everybody else is. So that's that's kind of the goal of those things. So I do have a bunch of chats. I've got them saved at the spots where I left off on both days because I'm insane. And then we've also got this Mark Richards interview that was not finished, and we've got the Supreme Court oral arguments on the abortion case, which is also not finished. So I'm trying to figure out which one to do, but I'm gonna start with some of the super chats. And of course, whenever I do these super chat catch up shows, the goal is not to actually bring in more super chats. I know you guys send them, and I love you. I love you for it. I really do. But don't feel obligated to do so. I will be. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna do the same policy, the 20s as they come in and stuff like that, as best I can. But I am going to be reading the older chats today. So, if your chats are very much appreciated. But since I'm working through a backlog, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, if you send them in, I'm going to get them all right away. It's going to take some time. But yeah, again, that's not the point of these shows is to make up make up the work that I have not done. Um, with that, let me get, there was some really early chats before the show, and then there's a couple more, and then I'll get into the others. We'll start reading, and then we'll pick one of the other subjects to do. And by we, I mean me. I'll pick. But this will give people some time to filter into the show. I know I created the link a little bit late. Christmas is coming. I don't expect huge attendance on the nighttime streams with Christmas this close, and also with the kind of with the catch up topic isn't always super popular, but everybody's welcome, and hopefully we'll get some laughs and some tears and all of that good stuff all at once. Laughs, tears, and erections. I think that's what the nighttime show is for, right? We laugh, we cry, we have an erection, and then we cry about the erection. Maybe I do. I think that's what 40 is. That's the movie. That whole movie, This Is 40 with Paul Rudd. I think that's what they could have done. He could have just woken up, gotten an erection, and then cried. And then it would have just like had, the frilly calligraphy, like Finn right? Dot, and it's starring Paul Rudd, and that's it. That could have been the entire movie right there. That would have been it. I think that would have, described life. Drink, you bigot. I haven't had a drink today. So should I do that? Is that even safe? Generalissimo, I'm terribly lost too. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. When there's like blood curdling screams coming from the other room, I have to occasionally check on them. Woo! So much dead air. Wait, Katie, you said Jack Murphy got clobbered in Tim Pool's chat. Did Jack Murphy go on Tim Pool's show? Was that what happened? He did. No, you can't do that. You can't. No. Did he address the article? I know he's always on his show, but I mean, he just had a big thing. Did he address it? Did he address the article? He did. A little bit. No, yes. Now I'm going to have to I don't have time to watch Tim's show. Guys, look. Look. This is apex level stuff here. This is apex level peak Chad sexuality. And that is to have someone else fuck your girl. No. Nope. No. Literally never. Look, you want to go do that? You want to have that little weird that thing? You want to dip your toes and stuff in your polyamory and all that bullshit? Have fun. Go ahead. I don't care. I'm not going to stop you. But if you come in with the cope, the heaviest cope I've ever seen, rationalizing peak apex sexual energy. Nope. Get over it. You're a cuck. Just go be a cuck, like in the corner quietly, like everybody else, like all the other cucks. It's fine. You want to build a closet door with slats that you can like, you know, you got to look either up through them or down through them or whatever you need to do. Cope there in the corner in shame, like the rest of the cucks. That's where cucks belong, in shame. You cannot sell it as peak. You can't do it. And if you don't anymore, right? If you don't believe it, then correct it. You got to correct that. I mean, my God. Huh, okay. Well, now I have something to watch. But that's fine because like I said, I think sometime shortly after Christmas, Drex is going to come out. We're going to go through the article. We're going to give it an honest evaluation in the article. And then you know, maybe I'll see if I can review Tim's show with him and get a peek of it. Because Whew. Like, look, again, if you got caught up in some kind of life in the past, right? You're into something and you were good. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Guys, I used to play Magic the Gathering. I used to play Magic the Gathering. I had a bunch of Magic cards, had little flimsy slip cases, you put the cards in. So your cards, you could shuffle them just by squishing them together. All right? And at the time that I played Magic the Gathering, I probably would have said, "Yeah, this is cool. You guys should see my Keldon Warlord," right? Okay? Or whatever. I got a Legends card. It's a dual it's a dual color card. It's multiracial. This is awesome. No. So, right, 15, 16 or whatever. It was younger than that. I think I sold my cards when I was 16. That sounds right. So I would have started playing Magic in like 8th grade or 9th grade. So anyway, you probably back then, I would have said, yeah, Magic's a cool thing. It's fun. It's great. You can play with friends. Not today. Not today. I correct the record. If you were playing Magic the Gathering today, know what you are. Not telling you need to stop. That's your life choice, right? That's your life choice. But you are not apex predator or whatever. You're not. It's okay. Maybe you don't want to be apex, right? But I'm not selling you on being an apex sexual predator. The highest testosterone you can find. That's in the comments. It's in the comments. It's in the comments. I'm not selling that. I wouldn't. Look at me. It's not who I am. I'm not here to lie to anybody about anything like that. I do me. Humble family man, humble dad, and just perennial asshole. That's it. That's all I want. Guess what? Magic the Gathering, not the best way to do that either. Don't have time. You don't have time for this stuff. What are you talking about? But if you like playing Magic the Gathering, go ahead. God love you. You're great. Have a hobby. I actually like hobbies. I'm fully in support of men having hobbies. That one. But again, like if you want to be Giga Chad, you go to the gym, not the Magic the Gathering table, right? Like that. This should be understood. That's okay. It's all about your goals, but don't sell it for something it isn't. In the same way, you can't sell, well, I decide when someone else fucks my girlfriend. No, you don't. That's a rationalization and a cope. And when she comes back to me every time, yep, said every cuckold ever. And if you want to advocate that life, great. If you don't want to advocate that life, but you did for a time, go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Probably don't really believe that anymore. So there you go. Oh God. 132.05 on Timcast IRL. Let's see what we got. He said he didn't believe it anymore on Timcast. Good. Let's see. Timcast arrow. All right. What was it? Don't worry, we're going to do the chats from earlier. This can't be that long. 132.05. Here we go. Okay. Here we go.
The members only segment today because we're gonna be getting ready. I got to pack.
Fake Friday.
We're going,
It's just like a half day at school because it's Christmas vacation.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do want to say, like, so the super chats have been absolutely inundated with people who don't like you.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And a lot of people
no.
are saying things like, you shouldn't have yelled at Sydney and all that stuff. And so we'll talk about that right now. But I do want to say one thing too, because a lot of people who are saying things like, I can't believe I believed in Jack or whatever, and Jack's a fraud. And I'm just like, guys, we're going to address all those issues. But if your complaint is about an article that Jack wrote 7 years ago, and you're now saying that, like, you no longer like him because of something he did in the past, I don't care if it's a leftist who does it. I don't care if it's a right winger who does it. If someone did something in the past and they're like, yeah, I don't think those things anymore, or I don't like that I did that, I'm like, okay, forgiveness granted. Thank you for joining us in the fight for freedom.
Yes.
I agree. I 100% agree with Tim Pool here. 100% agree. The problem is not that the article was in the past. The problem is that this article was brought up, and what came out of it, and again, it's your own words and your own advocacy from the past, right? So then when someone brings up your thing from the past, you should just address it very quickly. He didn't, though. That's the issue. But yeah, I mean, if someone's got something in their past and they say, look, I'm not that person anymore, then you at least get to judge them and say, are they that person or are they not? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know, but you get to judge them based on what they're doing now and if you trust them or not. But you should, again, this isn't, I saw you do this one thing sometime. This is you writing in support of a thing, you advocating this thing. You're saying that this is the way to something. Then now you need to address it. And I think that's where the failure occurred here was a failure to actually address this issue. So here we go.
If we're going to excise our own allies because of things they did in the past, well, you might as well be, in cancel culture mode or whatever. Not that, I mean, some people should deserve to be canceled and some people should have to answer for what they did and all that stuff. But
we all answer for what we did in one way or another. And again, this doesn't mean that Jack should be canceled. Actually, I think far from it. Far from it. He shouldn't be canceled. He should have just answered. Now, if he's answered it and then had to answer it again and again, every time he shows up somewhere, it gets a little old. I get that. But this is, I think, I mean, to my knowledge, this is the first time this has been brought up anytime soon. Or anytime recently. Anytime soon. But I don't know. I don't follow. I don't religiously follow any of these people. I don't have time.
I mean, do you want to outright mention the "you are here" thing or whatever?
Oh, well, just on that one point, like, why was it so jarring for people to read that article about me? Because I don't ever talk about it. Because I don't ever push those ideas. Because it's not a part of my life, right? It was something that I wrote when I had like 100 Twitter followers, and I was using a fake name. Jack Murphy is not my real name, everybody. Spoiler alert.
Okay, but you go by Jack Murphy now. That's a weird one. Like it wasn't just jarring because you don't talk about it, right? It was also jarring in the way you reacted to it. It's that combination of things. Okay? That's the issue that people had. But here's the thing. This is a weird place. And I mean this, look, I have a feeling Jack might be mad at me. And if he is, that's up to him. I'm not here to control him or change his mind or whatever. But I say this with the fullest and utmost honesty and and respect for what's going on. But if people are jarred because it's not you, that doesn't mean they should or because that's not the impression they got of you, that doesn't mean they should automatically accept that it's not you. Right? Like, okay. Like there's some, here we go. Jerry Falwell Jr., right? Jerry Falwell Jr., son of Jerry Falwell, uber conservative, evangelistic Christian, president of Liberty University, blah, 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 blah. When it came out that he was being cucked by the pool boy and that his wife is doing naked Zoom calls, Gazanga's hanging out with Captain like Puerto Rican pool boy on the Zoom meeting, and Jerry Falwell Jr. is coming around the door frame like this, like looking in, like watching his wife Zoom cheat with him, right? That's jarring because Jerry Falwell Jr. didn't have a reputation for being a cuckold. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a cuckold. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because it surprises people doesn't mean that they should automatically determine that it's not who the person is just because they haven't experienced that before. It's jarring. And again, part of the jarring nature of it is probably why you should address it from a PR standpoint. Again, I think this is like a guy who is handed a shovel, dug 6 feet down, and then said, "Why'd you put me in this hole?" It's not like everybody else dug the hole, man. Like the response, so the discordant reaction to what you talk about versus what people were reading. And then the discordant response, the response of deflection and anger, is what throws people off. And so that's why the explanation is beneficial. You don't owe anybody anything. But when you put yourself out there publicly, it might be fruitful to explain what was going on at that time in your life succinctly and just say, you know what? I was caught up in some messed up stuff, messed up my brain, messed with my relationship, made me question who I was as a man and what I was telling other men to do. And I left that life behind because that's not the way. You guys hear what I'm saying today. That's what I'm doing. I'm living my life. I was honest then. I'm honest now. I didn't want people confused by my past, by some past advocacy that I disagree with. So since I don't agree with it, here we go. This is what you can find now. You've got the real Jack Murphy right here talking to you. I'm with you. I disagree with that stuff. But that's, I was in a different place 7 years ago. I've learned a lot since then. And Jack's whole story, right? His whole story is about learning a lot. His whole story is about a transformation that has changed him from who he was to being canceled, to being berated and badgered by Antifa, into this guy he is today out here saying, he's advocating for men. He's trying to raise the level of integrity or whatever. And guys, and I think his response here is what really hurt him. Michael Palmer asked if I can explain what he did or what was said. Okay. Yes. I can do that. Give me just a moment. I should really bookmark this thing. We're not going to go through the whole thing. Next time Drexel is here, we're going to go through this thing, because this is a topic that I would typically, Drex and I would handle these topics, but it's Christmas time, not as simple as having him here. But this is what he did, all right, or this is what he wrote back in 2015. That's what they're talking about. And so again, today I sent my adoring, loyal, hot young girlfriend of 2 years to have sex with a stranger from Tinder. She is currently at his apartment, checked in with me via text, and is presumably sucking and fucking her way to a good time. I'm alone writing. Couldn't be happier. And then importantly, my manhood is intact and my dick is hard. Okay. Like this is what's jarring. All right. That's what's got people so worked up, because that's not the Jack they know. And so that's what I mean. You've got a jarring subject and then you've got a jarring response. Again, here he's like, well, that's not me. You know, that's not me. No, people don't know that's not you. They just found out this new thing about you. And you might have to just go ahead and spend a minute and say, look, this is part of my story, man. I was in this weird place of hedonism on the left. And now I'm, now I'm not. I learned this is where I've got a disagreement with his approach. And I think his approach is what hurt him more than anything else.
My real name is John Murphy Goldman. My grandfather's name was John Murphy. Everybody called him Jack. So I picked Jack Murphy as a pseudonym. And I wrote an article about like one element of my sex life all those years ago that was meant to be seen by basically nobody.
It's a pretty big element, though.
And I deleted it like a few months later. And now for years, people have been digging through my internet trash to like bring it up and to wave it in my face. And the only reason people are waving it in my face is because we're having a good impact on society. We're like doing good. We're spreading good out there. And if it felt jarring to you to read this one thing, well, yeah, that's because I don't talk about it. And it's not something I'm pushing. And it's not something I advocate. After I got divorced, dude, we just had...
Again, respect for not advocating that. But with respect, when it's jarring to people, that's a clue that you might want to just say, hey, you know what? Or like restore the article, but have a big editor's note at the beginning that says, warning, this is how far I've come from where I was. This is not the way. If you want to know more about the way, you got to check out this thing that I've written. Maybe that's how you do it. Because I'm with him if he says, I can't address this every time some internet weirdo brings it up. You can't. At some point, you got to basically shut it off. But I don't know that he's addressed this before. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But it seems like this was news to just about everybody.
We had fun, man. We did a lot of kinky and crazy things. And I don't write about it and I don't talk about it anymore.
Joey Salads hired black men to vandalize a car with Trump stickers in it. He staged the whole thing, and I forgave him and had him on the show several times.
Yeah, well, I didn't do anything that stupid. I was just having fun with a girl that I just started dating. We were just going out and having a good time, and I wrote about it anonymously. Then I deleted it, and now I have gone through a whole many years of growth and transformation and reading and studying, and everything that I have said before up to this point is 100% accurate. What?
But people
Don't
are
interrupt
mad.
me.
Well, people are mad at you for yelling it.
Oh, they're like, oh.
So everything I said before is 100% accurate. So the article, I mean, okay.
We can talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
I think they're using, a lot of people don't like the article. A lot of people are using that because they're mad at you, but I think the anger comes from you yelling at Sydney.
Right. So here's what happened with Sydney.
I mean, no, I don't agree. Now, look, I'm sure I'm going to be called a rage merchant or whatever. That was kind of the term that he was using. And again, if he's taking it that way, that's fine. I don't want people to be mad at Jack Murphy. I don't care. I learned who Jack Murphy was for the first time when he was on Timcast and the clip. And I only saw it because it was a clip. I don't have time to watch other shows, right? I am producing content. When I'm not producing content, I'm dealing with kids, right? Family obligations. That's what I do. My content is my leisure time. Like when you guys see me on Twitch playing a video game or watching a movie, those are almost the only times I get to play a video game or watch a movie. My content is also my entertainment simultaneously. Blending the two is wonderful for like making your job enjoyable, but it's also it means that I don't really have that outside of being on broadcast, which I'm okay with. But it was a clip from Tim Pool's show about the vaccine, and I took Jack's side immediately. I'm like, no, being a parent is hard. This isn't as simple as Tim's making it out to be. That was my position. And then I learned about him. People are like, oh, we like this guy. He's really cool. He's talking about good man stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm all for advocates for men. And so then when I saw this thing, I'm like, this doesn't seem to match with other people. But like, I don't care if people are mad at Jack. I don't want anybody mad or happy or anything. I'm neutral. The guy seems like he's out there doing work like all the all sorts of other content creators. And I likely, by the way, disagree with big chunks of his philosophy, because I disagree with big chunks of everybody's philosophy. That's fine. My best friend my best friend who sits here with me on tons of shows is anti-marriage, is not a Christian, has beliefs about people groups that I find hilarious, but I don't necessarily agree with them, right? But I don't care. Like, that's fine. That's his story to tell. That's his explanations of truth and philosophy to share. I just enjoy talking to the guy because we've been friends for 25 years, and we have a good time laughing together. So that's the thing here. I don't care if someone has a philosophy I disagree with. This isn't about rage merchants. That's a weird, and again, those defenses that he came up with, they're frustrating.
So I'm sitting on the show and we're talking, and they're joking about reading super chats where people are building like gas chambers, and she's reading out loud like, how did I build this gas chamber that didn't kill all the Jews that I was supposed to kill, right?
That's because the super chats aren't yours. They're the chats. And so as long as they're not like obviously outside the terms of service, if you do it like I do, for example, you try and read the super chats, because that's how YouTube has decided to allow the audience to participate in the show. And so again, they're not the host. The host is a messenger, a mouthpiece. If you had text to speech, it'd be the same thing. The person is just reading through the chats that people want to say. Again, do you want people to say the craziest stuff? No, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it, but that's not them. And if you start filtering out the super chats, and again, there are some things I have not read or have had to modify, because you can't like just drop N-words all over the place because they're creatively written or whatever. But you got to modify some things. But if you start just choosing, oh, I'm going to only read this one, and I pick this one, and I pick this one, it gets real convenient to only read favorable super chats, to only read super chats you agree with, to ignore those uncomfortable ones. And that's part of the show. That's part of the entertainment industry we're in right now as independent creators. And if you don't like that, people on my show I tend to warn them, like, that we're going to have live questions from the audience. The audience can be kind of rowdy and have some spicy jokes. Are you cool with that? Should we record the video if you're not cool with that? Like, I don't want to put anybody out. But if you're going to be on the live show and have fun and interact with the audience in that way, then that's going to come. I'm going to come.
It's like insane, the super chats that she reads. And so I'm telling her this whole time, I'm like, hey, you might want to read all the super chats before you read them out loud, right? A little bit of a warning. And then
yeah, please come onto my show and tell me how to do my business, right? Like, you may want to screen these. Well, you may want to screen them, but maybe I don't.
She asked me the question about the article, and I answered it politely. I deflected. I was like, that's not me. It's 180 degrees from whatever that article says. And I'd really rather not talk about it anymore. And then a couple minutes later, she literally asked me the same question all over again. And I cursed at her. I shouldn't have cursed at her. And I apologized, Sydney. I apologized to her that day and that night and the next day.
Yeah, I think people are making more out of the Sydney thing than they need to. It's not about Sydney. Like that's not the thing. Like people blow up or whatever. As long as the people involved are cool, who cares at the end of the day? What it's about was the other aspects of the response. Limiting the tweets on or responses on Twitter, not allowing people to say their piece, blocking everybody. These are things that I just personally disagree with. Again, how other people do their stuff, I'm not here to tell them. Jack's a very successful guy. Very, very successful guy. I think he makes just an absolute boatload of cash from his thing. He has a successful gig going. I'm not here hating on any of that at all. But for me, and you guys know, I don't delete comments. I let people say what they want. When people are critical of me, I either scream and swear at them or they're right or whatever. And people disagree. That's okay. But
and she accepted my apology. So I don't know why everybody's still butthurt, but I shouldn't have cursed at her. I should have just used amused mastery and just like laughed at her and dismissed her, but I didn't because I had set a boundary and she crossed it. And that's part of being a man too, is saying, here's my boundary, please don't cross it. And then she crossed it. And I told her that I didn't like it. Did I use the right words? No. Should I have cursed at her? No. And did I apologize to her for that? Yes.
But if you're reading the super chats, and again, I don't know how they do their show. I don't consume content. But if you're reading the super chats and another super chat comes in, like what I try and do is if I've addressed a topic, I try and go, okay, we just addressed it. But sometimes multiple of the same ideas come through from the same or different people. It's just how it goes.
Did she apologize to me for putting me in a bad spot? Yes. Did Elijah? Yes. Did Elijah and I go out for dinner and drinks afterwards? Yes. Has Sydney and I talked afterwards? Yes. So I don't understand why everybody's so white knighting, simping for her. She can stand up for herself. It's resolved. And in my mind, it's done. And to me, this is such a nothing burger in my life. I am so focused on so many other bigger, more important things that people chipping and chirping away at me at this are just so annoying. When I block people, it's because you're annoying, dude. It's because you have
we have to be more than drama.
Right.
There are a lot of drama channels. I don't engage with them. And I'm aware, and I mentioned this last week. The one way to really piss me off is to send me a video about people saying things about me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, I don't care about me. Like what I mean by that is like, I don't care if, so I saw the Young Turks thing where Jenk was like, he's literally looking into the camera saying over and over again, I'm laughing at you, Tim Pool. I'm like, okay, dude, like whatever, man. I did a video addressing the Ari the Rugged Man thing. Got 500,000 views. The Young Turks did their video, got 50,000 views. I'm not saying that, bring that up to be like, haha, I got more views than you. I'm saying when you focus on the work, when you focus on the ideas, when you are talking about what makes the world a better place and what we need to work on, people are interested.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, people are also very, very interested in drama from those drama channels. And that's the business that they're in, right? Like Drama Alert, literally called Drama Alert, has what? 5-6 million subscribers. I mean, Timcast is huge, right? But on YouTube, for example, like Drama Alert was bigger. I don't know. Is Keemstar retired? I don't even know. So like, again, drama channels are doing the work. They're just focused on different things. And that's okay too. And Tim's right, by the way. Who cares? Who cares what these other people are saying so much? It's not about, but not everybody commenting on this is just in it for the drama, right? Some people are just confused and they're talking about it and their audiences are asking about it. I would have never known about this other than people asking me.
People are interested in like, what can I do to better my life?
Yeah. And that's,
but Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian just insulting me doesn't improve anyone's life in any way.
It's
It doesn't
not.
provide them with tools to make for a better world.
No, and if you're out there and you're listening to rage merchants and all they're doing is stirring up drama and you're just getting angry enough that you seek out my email address and my Instagram and my YouTube.
Seek out my email address, my Instagram, my YouTube. So that's a weird take, right? Because normally, like those are public things.
And my Twitter and my personal phone number and my
Personal phone number might be too far.
girlfriend, who's soon to be my wife's,
Too far, personally, in my opinion.
and you blowing us up with all this nastiness, like dude, you're being misled, right? The idea and everything that we're working on here is to help men, is to help their families, is to help their community and their nation. On the way up here today, just let me finish. On the way up here today, I had a phone call with one of the LO guys, and we're talking about this business that they started that's literally going to change the world. It's going to change the world. It is going to transform the world. And this is what we're working on. So I'm driving up here and I'm talking to this guy.
Does it? I think people are legitimately asking the question, does it help men to deflect and move forward? And maybe it does. I don't know, right? Like I have my perspectives on things. Maybe he believes that that's the right way to help men. But I don't know that every man has the luxury of deflecting and moving forward their past when confronted with it. I'm not sure that that's true. I think on some level, when your past comes up, and again, especially when it's in the context of you advocated this, then it merits an addressing, not a deflection.
About literally changing the world. And now we're talking about this thing that literally has no relevance in my life whatsoever at all today. And, it's just kind of annoying, but like, I'm just so over it and not interested in talking about it, which is why I was like, please, let's just not talk about it anymore. And she wanted to, so hey.
But I'll tell you this, some of these super chats are funny, but I think you even rolled with the jokes about calling your boy Matt and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
you get it.
It's
Sometimes
like,
you just gotta,
it's like, whatever, dude. I have a kinky past. Really, I'm really terribly sorry about it. And then, and then my girl and I, we got serious, and now we settled down, and now we're getting married, and we're gonna have a nice traditional life with the kids and the family and the whole thing. Like, oof, kill me. Like, come on, guys, get a grip.
let's read.
And again, this is a minor straw man, right? I don't think people are mad about it. They wanted an explanation of it. And then you didn't give the explanation. Like this conversation could have occurred. And I think it might have been better. But maybe he's had this conversation before. I don't know, right? Because I get that sometimes. You go on different shows and you're doing different things, and people can't watch every second of where you are, obviously. And so then they oh, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? Like that, no, there's no Vic news. Oh my God. Like you see, so maybe that's the case, but I kind of feel like people were really blindsided by this.
Read some stuff. Let's read some super chats. Stairs in a Space Gaming says Daily Wire just announced SCOTUS is going to hear their vax mandate arguments. Yes, I encourage everybody to stop watching Fox News, start watching the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Stop sharing Fox News articles. If the Daily Wire has an article saying the same thing, share that one instead. Because Fox News.
141.25. It continues. Okay, we'll skip up ahead.
Let's grab some super chats here. A lot of the people, a lot of the super chats we got about, the Sydney and Elijah thing are people genuinely being like, I don't understand what that was. What happened?
With Sydney.
Yeah, they were like, what happened with that? What happened? But we addressed it.
Well, yeah, when the people clipped it, where all they see is me saying, cursing at her, but they didn't see the whole thing, right?
I'm pro cursing in general, by the way.
I was like, let's not talk about that after I've addressed it. And then she brought it up again. So, you know, it stinks. And I wish it didn't happen. And Sydney and I are cool, and we will be cool. And Elijah's already talked to me about coming back on the show in February, and I'll happily do that. And I just think everybody here should just sort of put this thing behind them and let's move on.
Heathen Airsoft and Jay says, we don't do drama. You just had a whole segment today about drama between Young Turks, RA, the Rugged Man, and you. No, that's actually not it. I don't know if you watched it or not. The reason why I did that segment was because the ideas were really important, and the Young Turks gave me an excellent opportunity to show you what the left and progressives are. Like I said, I don't care that, you know, the Young Turks want to laugh at me or make fun of me, but I think it's important that when you have a regular person who's sitting there saying like, who's right? Who's a good person? Is Tim Pool a good person? Are the Young Turks good people? I want a certain kind of person to watch this show. If you're the kind of person that thinks insulting and making fun of people and spending your days involved in laughing and screaming in people's faces for tribal points, this show is probably not for you.
Have you read?
Look, if you're someone who's interested in laughing and making jokes and insulting people, this show is the one for you. This show, I will send me your poor, your weary, your unlaughed. Send them. I will bathe in the people who are just longing and thirsting for humor and comedy. Tim can do his. Tim's a master, by the way. I'm not, but man, if you want the spicy takes and you want the laughter along with, you know, commentary and all of the other stuff and the analysis of the news and of legal issues, I mean, this is where you got to be. This is the, you know, have you ever seen that movie Ready to Rumble? Ready to Rumble's an unsung comedy classic. Oliver Platt, you got Tweeter from Varsity Blues, and David Arquette. I don't remember Tweeter from Varsity Blues' names, but this movie's fantastic. It really is. And one of their heroes that they recruit is Sal Bandini, this old-timey wrestler. He's like 100 years old. And he's laying there in the hospital, and he's like, he's sitting there and he's giving these guys advice. And he's like, always attack the strong side of the fort. And they're like, think you mean the weak side of the fort. And he's like, no, the strong side, up the middle, because that's where the action is. Yeah, that's what we need. We need the spice. We need to get in there and mix it up.
Read your comments, Timmy.
Well, I don't think these are our regular viewers. Our regular viewers are fairly, you know,
right.
well-read, and they often correct us on things.
Right.
The goal of that segment was there are going to be a lot of people who may be roped into the lies of these people, grifters.
Tweeter was Scott Kahn. Is that James Cahn's kid?
Now, the Young Turks would like to call me a grifter. Many leftists would. I will lay out my entire past with a family member for all embarrassment and for all of the bad, so that you can know this is who I am and this is why I believe what I believe. The Young Turks can laugh at me and say I'm a liar and a racist all day and night, but they have no substantive argument. I don't care for the drama.
Man, I love James Caan and Rollerball. Rollerball is such a good movie.
Between the Young Turks, I invited them on the show. I think that'd be great. I think the bigger issue is letting regular people know, here's the people who aren't laughing in your face, and here's the people who are. If you're a working class person from the south side of Chicago, my story probably related.
I'm laughing next to your face, not in your face.
If you're a mixed race person, I get it all the time. They're like, man, I've been through what you've been through, Tim. That resonates with me. Then if you have progressives saying, you know, we're the ones who are fighting for you, but don't worry, if you ever challenge us, we'll laugh in your faces. I want as many people as possible to see that. There's nothing to do with interpersonal drama. It has everything to do with proving who is.
Is this Jack thing? Is there some more fruit to pluck from this tree? Because I don't want to belabor it. I don't want to sit here and watch Tim Pool's show. I think someone said there's something else coming really soon.
Who is actually fighting the good fight and who is trying to grift off of you.
Look, and Tim, I feel the same way. And one of the reasons that I am kind of happy that we're talking about this old article and like my hedonistic past and the fact that I used to try to just pleasure seek. I was just pleasure seeking is because ultimately at the end of the day, that's not enough. Like you're not going to be satisfied. And believe me, I have tried. You're not going to be satisfied by that kind of stuff. You need to find a higher calling.
See, and this is this is good. And this is why I think just deleting it and pretending it didn't exist is the wrong move. Like you learned that this pleasure-seeking lifestyle wasn't for you, that it wasn't enough in your life. Like this is
And I am happy to be the guy that leads people who once lived a hedonistic lifestyle, who are looking for something more important, who are looking for something that means more to them, that's going to return a higher utility to them as a person and is going to benefit the nation as a whole. So if this is my, thing to bear, okay, fine. But like, listen,
yes, it is your thing to bear because you wrote it. But and again, this is the problem that people were having, is the incongruency of what you're saying now with how you acted on the show. Your past is always yours to bear. It doesn't mean you should be canceled or ignored or ridiculed or whatever, as long as you can confront it. Say, yeah, you know what? There's the thing. I didn't put this out there, or I put this out there. I took it down because I didn't want people to be confused. But you know what? Now my platform's big. People have looked into this. They've got this article from my past, and now we need to talk about it. This is how things were. This is not how things should be. You need to move to here. You can see this as your teenage rebellious years and your sexual awakening as a proper man, because sexuality isn't just about pleasure seeking. It's about responsibility or integrity or whatever it is. I don't know what his philosophy actually is, but yes, it is yours to bear.
Listen to my content now and understand where we're going, because I've moved past that and I'm on to.
But the guys you're talking to maybe haven't moved past that. That's what he's missing here. There are guys who haven't moved to that or past it, right? And there are guys out there who maybe like, oh man, I had a long-term relationship. The first girlfriend, was long-term. We dated for like 2 years. She dumped my ass and went into college and got just reamed out by the entire football team and then the lacrosse team, which is even more embarrassing because those guys are degenerate. And then she sent me pictures and it was awful. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out there and I'm going to just start putting it in everywhere I can. And I'm going to get into this and I'm going to get into that. And you got to be like, no, I went down that path and it wasn't fulfilling. There are guys in that first position. Then there are guys who are in that life of pleasure seeking and they're feeling empty. And that's when you say, hey, I know why you're feeling empty. I was there, man.
Something that's really good. And if you want to be onto something really good, let's go.
All right, we got Ghost Crusader says, Tim, I had to get my first shot today. I live in New York.
Oh, okay. So 2 hours, 1 minute and 22 seconds. That's the last one I'm going to do. We'll address this, whatever this is, and then we'll be done with this segment.
Just got to figure it out, man.
Look, I want to address one more thing from the article and the stuff that's coming up in the chats. People are saying that I use this word little girls, and they're trying to make it out like I'm some sort of pedo. Come on, guys. Little girls is about BDSM, daddy, little girl. Let's just put that out there. I'm older. She's younger. People come to me. It's a kink thing. Daddy, little girl. Get over it, guys. I'm sorry that I had sex, y'all. Get a life, dude. Jeez.
Whatever, man.
Next.
There you go. That's, I don't know that people are mad that you had sex. But okay, there it is. There's him addressing it. Props to him for doing it, because that was my big thing. Like my issue, and again, my issue for what it was a matter of, I think, 3 tweets. I think it was 3 tweets that I made about it after being, it was brought up on Flashcast, talked about it a little bit there, laughed about it, and then it was a matter of like 3 tweets. And then I was basically done with it. But stuff kept happening with it. And my big thing was, even in those tweets, you're not addressing it. You're blocking people from commenting. And then and this is the other thing. Again, this is my personal disagreement. this is my personal disagreement on this. If you're gonna hide replies or whatever, stop replies, you're gonna block people or whatever, fine. But if you bill it as I'm the alpha Chad in charge of protecting my audience from distracting ideas, I think you're way down the wrong path there. You're way down the wrong path. First of all, I don't need anybody to protect me from an idea that might distract me from what you're doing. That's not a service that I'm interested in ever. And I don't think anybody else is actually interested in having those pesky distractions removed from their lives. I don't agree with that. I can't agree with that. To me, that's very weird. Like you can dismiss those things. You can just let the comments stand and avoid them. You can do whatever. Look, Jack's got a whole bunch of Twitter followers. I know the feels. I know the feels on notification spam and all that stuff. You're not going to see a bunch of things. But to me, my thought is if I don't see it or don't want to address it, but I leave the comment there because that's someone else's thought on it. It's not my job to prevent that thought from being voiced or being voiced in this place or whatever. That's not my role. It's not my role to curate what other people get to see for my image. I get to respond to it for sure if I choose to, but that's that. And if you don't want, again, if you want to curate, if you want to not have people distracted or whatever, that's fine. But don't sell that as like you being the savior in the alpha move in the room. I don't think that's. If alpha masculinity is merely the ability to control information about you in your immediate sphere, then you can't trust alpha masculinity, can you? Because if I'm going to present myself as alpha, but then stifle any potential contradictory statements about that claim, that's not alpha. That's just an illusion. That's a drawing. Right? I'm wearing the painting. That's what bothers me about it. You are smearing and deconstructing to destroy. Okay. That's just my that's my opinion on it. And by the way, you guys probably won't find me seriously ever billing myself as like alpha. I call people betas because I think it's funny and it bothers them. Because it does. It does. But again, noodly arms, fat old man gut. What am I? What am I? Just a humble dad, humble sort of lawyer, and a super chat merchant. All right. Anyway, next time Drex is out, we'll go through the article. You know why we'll go through the article? Is it for rage? Is it for like cancellation? No, because it's funny. And that's the most important part, is that it's funny. So anyway, back to where I started. So long ago. Mexican Flash says, I finally saw a Biden sticker at my local gas station. It is in LA County. Also, I only wear a mask at work. People don't care anymore. Next, Andrew War Snowboard says, I streamed for almost 90 minutes on twitch.tv/A_War Snowboard, and only one person said the N-word. I'd consider that a success. Oh. Wolfgang Deo says a big factor in dumpster shooting is if the conduct continues after appeasement. As a veteran, I'd rather back enforcing dumpster guy than IED guy. You can choose to back whoever you want. The morality or the propriety of the party's behavior is not in question. The legality is, and the legality is the trick. Wolfgang Sherry Super says this trial needs more pepperoni nipples. Oh, pepperoni nipples are. Whew, whew. Let's see. Next, we've got Baron Sky says, shout out to the mods that help cover all these trials. The hours and hours they spend keeping chat in line has not gone unnoticed. Exhausting. It's mods like C Goody that give terrible mods like Angry Baneling a good name. Goody, how much did you pay Baron Sky for that? How much money did you send to Baron Sky for that super chat? That's some good return on your ad dollars there. Nico says, have you seen We Make Games video on child exploitation via Roblox? Could you please do a segment or comment on the actionable legal ramifications? I'm just blackpilled considering a handful is reported from over 200 million players. I could look at it, sure. I could look at it. Roblox is this place. And I'm biased both for and against it because my kids play the hell out of Roblox. And I mean, I don't get it. But I also, it's a place where the thing that I like about Roblox is it allows people to create. It's an environment that you get to build in, you get to make something in. And I like that. I love that actually about Roblox is I can build something and have people come and experience what I built. And I think the fact that my kids get to do that is exceedingly valuable, in all honesty. Kind of like Minecraft, but it's different. It's different because in Roblox, you can do so many different things than what you can do in Minecraft. Not better, not worse. It's not about that. They have different purposes. But the things that you can do and build in Roblox are different than building like structures in Minecraft. Roblox has this ability to make a thing that's an experience. It's not just an item in the experience. And I know you can with modding and stuff on Minecraft too, but I feel like on Minecraft it's more advanced. And maybe it's not. Again, I'm just a boomer. But having those tools like for kids to engage in and actually engage in at a level they can do it and understand is mind-blowing to me because we didn't have stuff like that when we were kids. So now I really don't think Minecraft and Roblox are actually comparable. I think they're completely different experiences. But yeah. But you got to, like all things, there's risk involved in all that. There's risk anytime a kid is on the internet, but I think we're long past the point of being able to shield them from everything, right? Not even Covenant Eyes could stop Josh Duggar. Attorney Tom, I don't play Cuck Sim in Roblox. I just play Cuck Simulator by Team Sneed on Steam. Actually, I haven't played it in a long time, and now it's banned from Twitch forever, which is sad. Nix Hex says, saw Matrix Resurrections. It has your favorite trope, a 5'1" girl taking down a 6'4" black man with a gay scissor leg wrap thing. Oh, God! Campy movie loaded with fan service that doesn't take itself too seriously. 4 out of 10. I've heard it's an abomination. I've heard it's an absolute abomination. Idaho Plumber, Idaho Plumber, not Idaho Plumper, says, we love your hard work, Nick. Keep us plebs up to date with these things. We need the law in mostly unbiased terms. Michael Burke says, what about Star Trek Nemesis turned you off? Asking for a friend. Okay, it's me. Look, I thought the plot was a little weird, just in general. And then well, let's be honest. He's Joseph, right? In his Technicolor dream coat, running around, shining in all different ways. Little Jean-Luc. I don't know. I wasn't into it. It felt kind of weird to me. I think First Contact is still my favorite. I think First Contact might be my favorite Star Trek movie out of all of them. I know everybody likes Wrath of Khan. I really like First Contact. It's fun. But that's me. But I also fell asleep through half the movie, so I might have missed the bad parts. I might have missed the good parts. Red Dragon says, every time you say Giga Chad, it hurts my soul. I'm not going to say Giga Chad. Giga's weird. Giga's funnier. Commit to Jigo Chad, or pronounce it like a normal human being. Please, Giga sound. No, Giga is dumb. No, Giga. We're going with Giga. Trump Willis is my name. Says, hey, Nick, Merry Christmas. By the way, wait for the little girl's excuse, and then you'll want him against the wall. Look, people can draw what they will out of the comments. We put it up there. We put it up there. People can draw what they will. Simple Sandman says, Merry Christmas to you and your family, Nick. Thanks for all the great content. Hey, you too. Printer God says, own up equals forgiven, but lash out and lie equals loser. Again, I think that was the problem. I don't think anybody's mad at him for having sexual intercourse with a lady. BG Willia. It's 21207. And also, people confuse being mad with being laughed at. Like, people are mad at me, or sometimes people are just laughing at you. That's another thing. BG Willia says, be careful out there this Christmas. It's the silly season. Just called 911 to break up a fight in the parking lot in front of my apartment. Also filmed parts of it. Anyway, Merry Christmas. I hope you're like, World Star. You got to do it. Tina says, Nick, I've been watching your show for a while now, and I don't think I ever heard a repeat super chat. Oh, by the way, have you heard that Kentaro Miura died? No. Did he? Grand Kai 9 says, the worst thing was Tim doing a segment on how the Young Turks was all straw men because no one watches them. Then he couldn't be bothered with a less than 2-minute clip or 10-minute to get the whole context when he knew this was coming. John Jelaine says, dude is sporting a massive Thanos type beard in lieu of a massive nutbag. See? Oh my God, that's beautiful. Mo says Tim Pool is not a grifter, but he is a person who has sniffed far too many of their own farts. It went downhill as soon as it crossed over from doing news to making culture. Jake Lawrence says a lot of these grifter types after 2016, Jack being one, he should have owned the cucking. Newer followers since Rittenhouse stayed for the banter. Merry Christmas, Nick. Hey, Merry Christmas, Jake. May you soon find out that I am a bigger grifter than all of them. Finance Guy 13 says, have Super Chats upgraded your whiskey selection? Your channel is the best. Yeah. Yeah, but the main thing... Oh, no. A Sea Lion in Orange says, saw your hobby table, was excited, saw the Dark Angel and unsubbed. Well, you can't see there's an Imperial Fist and an Ultra Smurf. You can't see them because they're off the frame. But those are the only 3 that are out so far of the Bandai Space Marines. So I have a White Scar on order, and I think a Primaris Captain on order as well. When they release, but they put those things out and then they take like 7 months to deliver. But yes, the Super Chats have upgraded my whiskey selection, but the way I approach whiskey is I just keep Like, I'll go back to certain bottles because I like them a lot, but I really like to just try new stuff as much as possible. Oh, wait, yeah, that's not a Dark Angel. That's a salamander, brother. That's a salamander. Dark Angels are darker green. Sea Lion, you got to resub. You have to now. Salamanders are dope. What's the cringiest like word? Is it like dope based fly fetch? Space Wolves have a whole pack out and an Invictor war suit from Bandai? No. Fire, hot wicked simp, cringe, pog, hip, cope. Anyone who hates cope is cope. That's a big cope. Gucci, Fleek. It's on Fleek. Oh my God. I'm not playing the mattress dumpster thing. I played that so many times today. G Soap says, no gods or kings, only men. As long as you put people on pedestals as a hero, you will always be disappointed. STFU FFS says, what the hell is this? A free super chat? That's cool. Yeah, it's not very griftery and I hate it. I hate it. Okay, where were we? I think content. Let's see. Is this one today? Trial day 16. Yeah, that one's from today. Let's see. Where do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Where do we go now? Let's see. Where are we? Oh, these are from this morning, I think. I'm trying to figure out which ones I have. Yeah, here, this is from this morning. Okay. There were a couple I missed from earlier in the show. It's about time you get on. You're late and Binger. From Travis Allen. Isaiah Burton says, dear sweet baby Jesus and all his little carpenter friends, let it end. Let it end. Get this trial over with. General Sorty says, sounds like we need more pushing of the envelope. Right Outside the Narrative says, thanks for the court coverage, guys. So frustrating trying to show my racist family your channel. They won't listen because you're all white. No, we're not all white. We've got Nate and Natalie. We've got Ty. Timothy Reaper says, forget the Jewish question. I want an answer to the mountain Jewish question. Has Melinda filed anything humorous lately? I don't think so. I got to check the appeals file, but I haven't checked it in a little bit because I've been again trying to catch up on all this other stuff. Yeah, we have an elf. Attorney Tom says he's Iraqi. Are you really? How do you feel about Kuwait? Let's see. Brian Elizabeth says, I'm reconsidering law school and have a degree in engineering. Thoughts from Uncivil on going into patent law and from Nick on going into criminal law. Look, whatever you want to do, if you're going to law school, go to law school because you want to practice law. That's the only, there's so many other ways to get to wherever else you want to go. If you want to practice law, if you want to do that, go to law school. If you don't want to do that, don't. And look, I thought I wanted to practice law, but my primary motivation for going to law school was I could be a lawyer anywhere. But I do enjoy practicing law. I enjoy YouTube a lot more though. A lot more. So that's why I mostly do this. And I think it has enhanced. I think it has enhanced my ability to do this show. Obviously, it's the only way I can do the show that I do. I think it's enhanced my ability to do any show. But that being said, like, how do I word this? How do I say it? How do I say it? That's not how it's going to go for everybody. That was luck. That was a lot of luck, opportunity, and then capitalization. Those things came together right for me. But you don't want to you certainly don't want to go to law school to get on YouTube. That would be terrible. You don't want to go to law school to just learn the law. You can do that on your own. You really can. Go to law school to practice law. And I hope it really works out for you. But if you don't want to practice law, please don't spend $150,000 going to law school. Just buy a house and rent it out. Better investment. All right, we got a couple chats here. Marcel Dufour says, testimonial, used to be running wild at bars, taking home a new lady every weekend. I turned to drugs. Then one day I had an urge to enter into a church when I walked past it, and I've completely changed my ways. I think a lot of people find hedonism to be ultimately, I mean, it's temporarily, it's like, oh yeah, this is great. This is great. I'm a coomer. But then at the end of the day, it's empty, right? It's empty, no matter what brand of hedonism you're into. And I think even like guys who aren't talking about like settling down or whatever, they're still looking for something else. They're looking for personal fulfillment, and they end up not finding it past the labia. Like they look for it there over and over. They search past every labia they can find, and they just go, this is fun and I enjoy the heck out of it, but I'm still missing something. And so they got to go somewhere else to find it. And it's true with pretty much any hedonistic activity, right? Gambling, drugs, drinking. Those plug little gaps in your life, but the gaps are still there. The integrity of your life is still breaking, and you may enjoy them. They may be fun, right? Like I like to have me a drink or two, but they're not fulfillment. You have to find fulfillment elsewhere. Finance Guy 13 says, more whiskey for you. Hey, thanks, brother. Chad Lane says, hey, Nick, I just lost my mom and brother to COVID. Me and my bro watch your show together every night, and he used to be subbed to your Patreon last year. Just want to say thanks for all the laughs. You have a fan for life. It's time. It's time. Okay. So someone sent me this very special bottle of Michter's. This is a pricey bottle of whiskey. I was saving it. I was saving it for a proper occasion. Chad, to your mom and your brother. Your brother's a fan of the show. And if you want to tell me privately who he was or whatever, that would be pretty cool. But if you don't, that's fine. But more importantly, he was your brother. He's your companion. And of course, your mom brings you into the world, and has a significant role in raising you. Can't be overstated what these people mean to us. The best of siblings and the worst of siblings are still the best of companions. And they're people who inarguably mold us. Even in their absence, they'll continue to mold us for who they are. May the mold that they cast in you be one they would be proud to carve out, build, shape, whatever it is. I'm not a sculptor. You get my drift. Cheers, brother. Sorry to hear that, buddy. I really am. Okay. Brian Elizabeth 1, back to that question of patent law, criminal law. Look, criminal law is amazing. It really is. You meet the worst of people until you do family law, then you meet the real worst of people. But you meet people in like the toughest spots in their entire lives. And you have the opportunity to help them out, and you will change. You will legitimately change lives doing criminal law in a way that you can't picture what you will do, how you will help people who and some of them are criminals, right? Most of them are criminals, and a lot of them are going to go to jail and all that stuff. But in general, the people who aren't criminals, the people who you do help, or those criminals that you help get a reduced sentence, that you help turn their life around. And sometimes you really are the thing that prevents them from falling further into that lifestyle. It is something you can't predict or prepare for. I couldn't tell you who you'll meet because it's different for everybody, but it will be rewarding in that way. If you want to do that, do that. Patent law is a good way to make some good money. It's a limited field. Patents are expensive, and they're expensive because of the specialization. So, if you want to do it, do it. Don't let anybody stop you on what you want to do in general. But if you want to go to law school, don't let me dissuade you. Just make sure you want to practice law, because that's the reason to go. Don't think, oh man, I think I could make more money doing something else, and then pick law school. That's a bad choice. You're an engineer. You're probably going to take a pay cut at first. Next, Mike Mysterio says, sorry to piggyback on the sad train, but if you could please pray for one of my mom's close friends. She had a massive heart attack and is currently in a medically induced coma. Next 24 hours is going to be shaky. Mike Mysterio, I will absolutely do that. I will absolutely do that. And if anybody else is of the praying type, I would encourage you to do the same. Michael Flanagan says, when YouTube demonetizes, do they still charge the advertiser for the ad? Would they then just be keeping the money? They do different ads when they demonetize. Yes, they charge, and they do give us a cut. They still give us a cut when they do ads. It's an embarrassingly tiny cut, right? It's the difference between $8 per 1,000 views and 75 cents per 1,000 views. So that's how they do it. They have low budget ads that run on demonetized content. It's actually lesser monetized, but that's what they do. But they do give us our like, we get 45 or 50% or 55%. One of those three numbers. I don't quite remember what it turns out to be. Conservative Knitter says, I got my husband. Oh, wait, I read that one. AB says, can the jury find just facts, conscious action or not, instead of guilt? Well, when they find the facts, they're told how to apply them to law. So if a jury wants to find just facts, but not guilt, that's jury nullification. I hope that you understand that. Like, if they're going to just find the facts, like, we found that she recklessly used the handgun, but we don't want her to be guilty, so we vote not guilty. They can do that. That's jury nullification, in essence. How much does YouTube make on ads? Well, if I get a 45% cut, for example, they get 55% on the ad. So if it's a $8 per 1,000 view ad for me, then it's roughly roughly $18, but $17.59 or something ad for YouTube. And so they will take the other half of that $17.59. So that's the cost. They charge $17.59 per 1,000 views. That's what they charge to the person. They give me the $8 and they take the rest. Does that make sense? I hope so. Me Flowers 66 says, please no Ty. Cringe. Well, sorry, Ty, shut up later. SSM 930 says, I predict the hung jury by noon who gets told to try harder. Come back tomorrow afternoon, hung for real. Well, we didn't have any jury interaction today at all. And then Bitter Snuffleupagus says, Nick, did you see the video on police activity YouTube video? It's worth a look. Video is titled Body Cam Footage of Suspect Pointing Gun at Officer. I did not see that one. I did not. All right. Next. Oh, boy. We should probably jump on one of these other topics, right? Should we? I mean, I probably could just read a bunch of super chats too. God. If I start that, we might just do super chats tonight. We did that. That Jack segment took a good chunk. Richard Fitzwell, we've discussed the truck driver sentencing quite a bit. I haven't done a dedicated segment to it, but we've discussed it on the law panel a lot. It kind of looks like that guy did a lot of wrong things. A lot of wrong things. Yeah. Intermediary Joe says, last week there was a news story in Oakland where a man was beaten to death with a skateboard. Someone should send the story to ADA Krause. He would take that as a threat, though. Like, see, they're threatening to kill me with a skateboard. AA Outdoors says, tell the Binger refrigerator joke. What's the difference between Binger and a refrigerator? The refrigerator doesn't fart when Krause pulls his meat out. That's the joke. That's the joke. Oh, yes, MD. Thoughts on the rye. I didn't want to do it right after the toast because it's weird to give a heartfelt toast to someone who's going through loss, being like, oh, yeah, that's a good whiskey. So here, just a second. That is really delicious. Again, it's one of my favorite things about some of these nicer higher end ryes. They're very tingly in the mouth. Everywhere that the liquor touches, electric lights up. But the toast on this is noticeable. That sort of burnt, crispy taste, right? That charred taste is very, very present on this. Bourbon is made in charred barrels, but I don't taste the char. And it's not smoke. It's something different. This is that toasty taste is in there. I don't know how else to describe it, but that's good. That's good stuff, man. Thank you again for that. I really appreciate it. Next. Agrilith says, why are you streaming with T. Greg Doucette? Andrew Clark says, check out CNN Potter trial vid, bad legal analysis. The one from 5 days ago. It's like 10 minutes long.
What happened next?
Officer Lucky started to say something about.
Well, I'm trying to see if there's actual. Oh, there's some legal analysis here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see what CNN has to say. This should be good.
Let's bring back Laura Coates, former federal prosecutor. She's a CNN senior legal analyst, and we also have Joey Jackson with us, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney. And Joey, let me start with you because you are a defense attorney. Do you think Potter has helped or hurt her defense today?
I certainly think she has significant problems, Anna. Good to be with you and Laura, and they're just built into the nature of the case. Let's talk about the positives first with respect to how she helped. She was there from a defense perspective to humanize herself.
Humanize. Human. Like Stan Lee's superhumans. What is with people who don't say human? There's an H, right? The H is not silent. The H is not to be ignored like the cuck in the corner.
This is a person who's been an officer for 26 years. This was her lifelong dream. Her husband's in the audience. His name is Jeff. She has 2 sons. One of them is in military service. She feels so bad about this. She quit at the end of the day because she couldn't take it, didn't want to put the police department through anything, left the state, in fact, where she no longer is a resident. And that resonates. That's important to show, you know what, I feel horrible about this. And that was one of the reasons that she did it. The other thing, I think, was to explain the basis of the stop. We know that it involved some air freshener, right? So she had to make clear this.
And an expired registration and the right turn signal in a left-hand lane. And by the way, as much as we may not like it, the air freshener is enough. Especially if you're in a high drug or crime neighborhood, the air freshener is more than enough. Because they know if you got the air freshener dangling from your little thing. Here's the secret, guys. Everybody who smokes weed in your car and you got the little dangly fucking pine tree, every cop knows why the pine tree's there. Because you know what people don't like? The scent of pine. Pine is bullshit. Nobody likes it. Stop putting pine on everything. We know why it's there. You're trying to cover up a smell. It might be you, right? If you're a big, sweaty fatso. Or it might be the fact you're smoking a bunch of weed. And you're driving a white Buick around a drug neighborhood. Guess what the fuck they're going to pick? It's option B. It's option B. But here's the thing. Having an obstruction in front between you and the windshield is grounds to pull you over. Don't put anything there. Hang it somewhere else. Drill a freaking hook into your roof and hang air fresheners all day like it's that apartment in 7, right? With the guy rotting alive with no tongue, sounding like Helen Keller, right? That guy. Do that. You can't hang it from your mirror. It's against the law, and they will pull you over if they want to. But that aside, that wasn't the only reason. Also, when they ran those plates, if you missed it in the testimony because you're on CNN and you don't fucking actually watch, they found out that the owner of the car, Dallas, had a warrant also. He also had a warrant because this is just an all-star American football-loving backyard barbecue family with warrants out the fucking anus. They got warrants all over. Everybody's got, you get a warrant. You get a warrant. You get a conviction. You get a conviction. You shoot someone. You shoot somebody. Because it turns out that there are families that are crime families, and I don't mean their last name is Giovanni Romani, right? There's just people who are predisposed to criminal activity through socioeconomic factors and bad choices. And the second one is typically the big one. And so when you happen to have someone driving a car with expired registration, an air freshener dangly, and when they run that registration, those plates go, oh, this thing's expired, and they find out that the owner of the car has a warrant, they're gonna pull it over 10 times out of 10. I don't care what Kim Potter said. I probably wouldn't have pulled it over. Yes, you would have. It's expired registration and an air freshener hanging there. You're going to pull that car over. Of course you are, unless you're busy doing something else. But anyway, sorry, mild rant.
This was not my decision. I was a field training officer. It was the person I was working for, and I simply backed him up as a result.
It's her job to observe him pulling people over.
Wasn't looking to give anyone a hard time. Last point. That's her state of mind. She got this warrant and she understood based on the warrant that it was a warrant also relating to weapons. There was an issue relating to an order of protection. So all those things are good to justify and explain. The built-in problem now becomes the cross-examination. And really the prosecution on is taking her to task. You're an officer for 26 years.
Is he praising the cross-examination of Kim Potter? That cross was terrible.
You may not have had to deploy your taser, but certainly you pulled it out. You know where your taser belongs. You've been trained on this before. Not only are you trained on this, but you do the training with respect to that. And even though you haven't had to use it, nor your firearm, you know where each one belongs. You know the design distinctions between the two. You know the weight, although she wouldn't admit it, right? Discrepancies.
You don't know the weight, buddy. You can't tell your 5-ounce dick versus your buddy's 1-pound dick. Don't come out here. Oh, I know the difference between the weight. Not when your adrenaline's up, not when you're focused on whether you can pull that gun and fire or pull that taser and fire, because the weight, 1 pound to 2 pounds, is irrelevant. It's irrelevant amounts of weight. Are you serious? Like, come on. I always love that when I'm reading like a review of cell phones and they're like, well, this one is 0.79 pounds and this one is 0.86. So it's going to get a little heavier throughout the day. It's like, really? You can tell? I mean, honestly, if you sit there and hold them together and sitting in a room, you're like, okay, one's heavier than the other. Yeah, okay, I can feel it. Maybe. But you pull one and you don't know the weight difference. You're not like, oh, that's 2 pounds. No one on earth can do, like, no one's doing that. That's not a real thing.
Between the two, and you know better.
It is very compelling to think that she's not at all just a hardened murderer or somebody who is nonchalant.
What the hell was that edit?
About the death of somebody else's child. I mean, we've already heard from Dante Wright's mother. We can imagine what that was like for her to have the phone call from her son, and then the next phone call she receives is one that her son has been shot and killed by a police officer. And so it is impactful to see that there is a human being and not a robot on that stand. The difference, however, is the prosecution's not suggesting that this was intentional. There's not been a suggestion by the prosecution nor the defense that this was somehow an intentional, calculated act. And
then they lose.
And in Minnesota, you need not require intent for the charges you're actually talking about.
Wrong. I mean, wrong. You need to intend the acts. You don't need to intend the results. You're a former federal fucking prosecutor. In every single criminal charge, you have to have the requisite intent. You have to intend the result, because we don't criminalize lack of intent. Now, intent can be manifest in certain things, right? Possession of child pornography is a crime of intent. Even though it's strict liability, you have to intend to possess pictures. Those pictures then contain the illicit material. If you intended to possess the pictures, then you intended to possess the illegal pictures. Okay? She never intended to draw the gun. And that intent matters. And this is a hair worth splitting, because it's the only hair in the case that matters.
One is premised on the idea of the reckless handling of a firearm. This is not somebody who is a layman. This is not somebody who is not accustomed to handling a firearm.
That doesn't matter.
It's not someone, by the way, as an ordinary person who would get a benefit of the doubt like a police officer would.
There's not a benefit of the doubt in recklessness. There's not a benefit of the doubt. That is not part of the legal analysis. It's not part of the law. The law is, did you create the risk? And then did you consciously disregard the risk? That's it. There's no benefit of the doubt. You either created the risk and then disregarded the risk, or you didn't create the risk, or you didn't disregard the risk.
Word, making split-second decisions. How often have you heard this word, turn of phrase? The key here, of course, is whether it was foreseeable that she could actually cause serious bodily harm.
No, that's not the key. The key is exactly what you were just talking about. The key is the recklessness, not the foreseeability.
Harm, let alone death. The most significant evidence we've seen today was that comparison photo, Anna, between what the taser looked like and what the gun looked like. The color, the weight, the size of it, which part of your
what? The weight came through in the photo, did it? You fucking dummy.
body you were supposed to have. In fact, that she had drawn her taser on multiple occasions, even if she hadn't deployed it.
She's drawn her gun in training hundreds of times the amount of time she's drawn her taser.
Question here for these jurors are, even if she is sympathetic, even if she is somebody who's obviously emotional about having taken another human being's life, was she reckless? Was it foreseeable? Did she not guard against the risk that the use of the wrong weapon, the firearm?
Guarding against the risk is not the standard. Guarding against the risk is negligence. Creating the risk and disregarding the risk is recklessness.
Rather than the taser.
These are not, by the way, this is not like high level legal concepts here. It's not like you need some specialized knowledge or training to go through the elements of recklessness. And this is a federal prosecutor. She has prosecuted people. This lady has put more black people in jail than anybody you've ever voted for.
Taser makes it criminally culpable negligence. That's what the jury is looking for.
Wait, no. What did you just say? What dumb fucking...
The risk that the use of the wrong foresee taken another human being's life. Was she reckless? Was it foreseeable? Did she not guard against the risk that the use of the wrong weapon, the firearm rather than the taser, makes it criminally culpable?
Oh my God, you're just saying words and they're not right. They're not right. Criminally culpable is recklessness. So you don't get to determine if it was recklessness because it was reckless. That's a tautology. Recklessness is reckless. Oh, fucking thank you. That doesn't help you. She's just saying words that she saw in the statute. She's combining murder 1 and murder 2 by saying culpable negligence, or manslaughter 1 and manslaughter 2. She's saying culpable negligence from manslaughter 2 because she read it. She's saying reckless use of the handgun from the first charge as the predicate cause of manslaughter 1. She's just saying those words, not realizing that they're the same thing because she hasn't looked at the actual standard for what culpable negligence is in Minnesota. It is recklessness. It's in the Minnesota Supreme Court decisions about what culpable negligence is. It's an element of recklessness, gross negligence plus recklessness. That's it. So at the end of the day, it's just, we know this is negligent. We know what she did is negligent. Nobody is suggesting that her drawing the gun was the right thing. The question is it reckless? These are the people who are in charge of putting people away forever. Forever.
Culpable negligence. That's what the jury is looking at. At no point, I think the
Notice she hasn't even explained what any of these terms mean.
prosecution is very smart here, not to try to hone in and say, aha, this is somebody who had out for Dante Wright. That's not what the evidence sees.
That's what you believe, though, isn't it? Be honest, panel. You believe that she had it out for Dante Wright, not because he was Dante Wright, but because her internalized racism identified him as dangerous. That's what these three people believe.
Seems to show, nor what her statements have been, nor what the law actually requires. And we're seeing a theme here, right? A number of cases we've seen in recent times where the defendant has taken the stand in his or her own defense now. And there's been an emotional thread in terms of it. At the end of the day, this case is distinct.
You know, shockingly, in self-defense cases, there's often an emotional thread because the person self-defensing typically didn't want to kill someone. And even if they did, it's good to lie about that on the stand and make it look like you didn't want to do it. That's the ultimate. So, look at these big shocking coincidences right now in the two trials we're talking about.
Because intent is not a calculation of the prosecution.
Let's play that moment when you talked about the taser and the gun being very different, including how they function, how you weaponize them in terms of the different settings that they have. Let's listen.
Set taser to kill. Bleep. How you weaponize your taser based on the different settings. Thank you for that excellent analysis. Never too late to open the OnlyFans.
The taser is on and armed. It beeps, right?
I don't know if it beeps.
There's a display screen that turns on.
Yes.
And then there are two lasers with the Taser 7 that appear on your target, right?
Yes.
A green one for the top probe, right?
I believe so. It was a new taser.
And a red one for the bottom.
I would guess so, yes.
Well, you were trained on it, right?
Yes, but it was a while back.
Well, you were trained in March of this year on that taser, correct?
Yes.
That is a while back, by the way. And I don't know if you remember, but she deployed that taser. She didn't even deploy the taser the one time after the training. She has probably never, ever lit up that taser from when she was trained on it on March 26th to today. And it's a completely new mechanism. So I love how Aaron Eldridge's like, well, it was March of this year. She has probably lit the lasers on that taser one time in training, never in the field. Didn't do it on Dante Wright either. And she's what, supposed to have a perfect memory of it? Well, it was earlier this year. I mean, like 9 months ago, bro.
And you have to successfully operate and handle that taser in order to be certified to use it, correct?
Yes.
And you went through that hands-on process of turning on that taser and safely handling that taser in order to be certified, correct?
Yes, in March.
In March. And before that, you had an X26P, correct?
Yes.
And that taser also had a laser and a safety and things like that, right?
Yes.
The screen that turned on.
Yes.
And the taser, and that was the taser that you had been carrying for years before, right?
Yes.
Very similar to the Taser 7 in that way.
Similar but different.
So that largely referenced the different safety mechanism of the taser versus the gun. But let's show the picture of how different they look. And as Laura described, they clearly look differently. They also are different weights. They're in different parts of the holster.
Different parts of the holster. There you go. I mean, that's expert right there.
Joey, do you think the defense has addressed this appropriately to try to counter the argument that the prosecution is making here?
Yeah, I do not see that. I certainly know that, look, when you put someone on the stand, right, there are certain calculated risks, and she comes across as very contrite. Certainly she said, or she indicated she was in therapy, right? She said that she had to leave her job. All those things, she's saying the right things. This is a mother. This is a wife. This is a person in the community. All of that's so important. And I think the defense is really hanging their hat on that issue, that the jury would connect. And now that they know her, will they be now loath to convict her? But having said all that, just pivoting back to Laura's excellent point, it's about intention here. And it's about not need.
No, Laura's I think he's about to correct himself. She specifically said it's not about intention. Here we go.
Intention here.
Okay,
This
here
is
we
not
go.
a case wherein you have to establish premeditation, you have to establish deliberation, you have to establish malice. No, you just have to demonstrate that there was negligence because there's a life involved.
No, 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 no. You have to establish recklessness.
You know you have to preserve life. You know you have to protect life. You know you're trained on this. And remember, Anna, what did she say? You were trained. Yeah, I was at some point ago. No, it was March of this year, wasn't it? Right? It was recent. And she's been 26 years on the.
It's not recent. That's 9 months ago. Joke, 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 joke. Funny joke, funny joke, funny joke. I can't say them. I can't say them on stream right now. I'm too close. I'm too close.
Force. Should you know better? Should you have a sense of the.
Should you know better is negligence. Negligence isn't the standard. Both of these are reckless.
The distinctions between the two, and should you have shot him under these circumstances?
Negligence, 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 not recklessness. Recklessness is the standard because recklessness is what's written in the law that you could find in 2 seconds. You're a criminal fucking defense attorney. You know this too.
That's what the defense is contending with, and I think it's very difficult to overcome.
No. Why do these people exist? Do you know how much these people get paid for that? For that garbage opinion? Do you know how... It's unbelievable that anybody would pay them anything. They didn't read the law. They didn't read the actual statutes. Okay. 11 Bravo Crunchy says, Merry Christmas, Mr. Ricada and Uncivil. Nick Cheeseheads is greater than Mud Ducks. Ryan 3342 says, do they cover the Uniform Code of Military Justice in law school? I read this one. Thomas Stein says, what's your feeling about states mandating vaccines for COVID to attend or enroll? I mean, I hate all mandates, but I feel like I read this. I didn't read that one. Okay, yeah, so here we go. Thomas Stein says, wait, I read that. JS says, how tiring is trial work for attorneys? Very tiring. Are failures to object and strategic mistakes inevitable? I mean, they're not inevitable, but they're possible, even for good attorneys. Love the stream and sitting for the bar in July. No, look. Trial is exhausting. It's days, right? Or a whole day of time, and you're nervous and whatever. I've not done a trial. I've not done a jury trial, never needed to, but I'll speak from experience about hearings. Hearings are shorter than trials, and hearings are tiring. When you have an actual hearing on the merits, right? When you have to sit there and prepare an argument, you have to examine witnesses, cross-examine witnesses, which that trial is not the only time this happens. You do this during hearings as well. You prep for it. You're nervous. You don't want to eat. You can't eat very well. Oftentimes you can't sleep as well ahead of time because you're thinking about your arguments. You're thinking about your questions, and you're going through everything. It's very, very tiring and draining when you have it. And that's for hearings. Trials, just take that and multiply it by between 4 and 8. If you have a 2-hour hearing, multiply it by 4 for an 8-hour day. If you have a 1-hour hearing, multiply it by 8 for an 8-hour day. And it's that much more exhausting. Yes, it's a ton of work. And it's in my hair. It's a ton of work. It's very tiring, but it's also really rewarding. Joe M says, just moved from New York last week to Texas, spent my entire life there. It was time to get GTFO. FYI, Jersey is even more expensive than New York now. Greg Bellotta says, everybody is an a-hole, therefore we need a government. No way a-holes would get in. Mr. Tech says, do you agree that parents are compelled to nurture their kids? How is it different? Do I agree that parents are compelled to nurture their kids? Are you saying, okay, so are you saying that the government compels parents to nurture their kids? I mean, the government, I guess they do, but it depends on what your definition of nurture is, because parents are not allowed to neglect their children to the point that it causes them harm. But I don't know if that equates to a compulsion to nurture. But it depends on what you mean by nurture, I guess. I guess you could get there. But should they be? I don't know. I'm not a fan of compulsion. TJ says, Nick, the words seem backwards for me. Negligence seems worse than recklessness. A mistake seems to be reckless. Negligence in my mind seems worse. No, negligence is the mistake under the legal definition, right? You have a duty and you fail in executing your duty. That's a mistake or an accident for whatever reason. You have some duty, you fail to exercise that duty, and it causes someone harm. That's negligence. Recklessness is creating risk. Negligence is knowing you have a duty to help someone avoid risk and then failing to do that. Recklessness is creating the risk for someone else and then ignoring that risk on purpose and then causing them harm. So, whereas here's the easy definition: negligence. A bunch of rain falls and then it drops below freezing and your sidewalk is super slippery, right? Really, really slippery. And you slip on it and you notice and you're like, oh, shoot. And then you walk inside and you don't do anything. And then someone slips and falls and breaks their hip and they're an old person, so they die. All right. Well, your negligence in that, in dealing with that known hazard on your property, this patch of ice, your negligence led to their injury because you knew about it. You didn't make it happen. You knew about it. You knew that people walk on that area, and you even walked on it and you slipped. Whoa. And then you went on with your day. You didn't do it fast enough. Maybe you're going to do it later, but you just wanted to put your feet up because you're tired. Whatever. That's negligence. Now, slip and falls on ice are really complicated in different states. In Minnesota, they're a lot harder, but down in Texas, they're a lot easier. We're not getting into the nuance. This is just a general level, okay? Now, compare that with, I look at my sidewalk. I know it's cold outside, and I go, you know what I'm going to do? And you spray water all over the sidewalk to make it slippery, because maybe you want to go like do the risky business thing, right? When Tom Cruise like slides in his underwear and the shirt and he's dancing, you want to slide across the sidewalk. So you're like, I'm going to make ice on this mug, and you spray it all over the place. You make a big ice patch, then you slide, and then you go inside. And then someone comes by and they slip and fall. So now you have created a risk. It didn't rain. There's no ice. You sprayed water all over. You created a risk. You knew it was slippery because that was the whole point of you spraying the water, was so you could slide. And then you disregarded that risk by leaving it out there, not salting it, not sanding it, not warning anybody. That's the difference between negligence and recklessness. I hope that helps you understand the difference. One is you have some obligation and you fail to uphold the obligation. You don't even have to like try to fail. You just do. Again, maybe it's just you went inside and instead of getting the ice or the salt and coming out and sprinkling it, you went inside and you fell asleep for a while. You got up, you made dinner. Someone falls on it the next day. So anyway, I hope that helps. Robert Centipal says, I'm late to the case, but after watching the CNN clip, can you read the reckless versus negligent standards pertinent in this trial? I just did. Negligence isn't pertinent at all. Negligence is a civil law issue. Culpable negligence, which is the criminal version of negligence, is gross negligence. So it's heightened even, like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's gross negligence plus recklessness. At the end of the day, you've got the negligence down because she drew the wrong gun and she shot him and he died. So you've got there's a risk and she fails, or she's a good duty. She has a duty not to shoot this guy and she fails in the duty, whatever. That's an easy way to say it. And she fails in that duty. Negligence. You got it. Recklessness. Again, she has to create the risk. So she has to create the risk. So she does. She creates the risk. She draws a gun. But she has to consciously disregard that risk. She has to knowingly have the gun to be able to consciously disregard it. To choose to ignore the risk that she created, you must first know the risk exists. So I can create a risk without knowing it, but I can't disregard it knowingly without knowing it first exists. I hope that helps. Because there we go. I don't know. Beating it to death. Abnormally normal says, here's the money for a can of WD-40 to fix that door squeak. I really should. Adolf Newman says, I didn't think I could hate prosecutors more until I saw the female prosecutor on the truck brake case getting the brake shoe as a trophy. WTF, dude, that's weird. Dave says, has the panel read Rothbard or Hop? No, I have not. Hop, whichever, however you pronounce it. General Sorty says, regardless of the verdict, Earl Grey has earned every penny he's getting. His work in this trial should be an example on how to effectively defend your client. Truly a legend in law profession. Yeah, the only weak part of what Earl Grey did was he didn't knock it out of the park on questioning the state's expert. He didn't do bad. He just didn't do phenomenal. And then his closing argument was not stellar. It was probably, it was fine. It just wasn't great. Which was, I was hoping for a knockout on that, but sometimes that's how it goes. Harmon Arman says Ty Beard sounds like Scott Rouse from the behavior panel. Hiker John says reckless suggests brazen indifference to or defiant disregard for consequences. William Gabriel says, if YouTube is your main gig now, what prevents you from moving to a more awesome place like Texas from someone stuck in Illinois for the foreseeable future? Family. And that's entirely it. We moved into this house 3 years ago, I guess. I'm not really looking. I hate moving so much, but ultimately it's family. That's the main thing. Brad Hobbs says, why are lawyers the most pedantic people on the planet? Because lawyers are the most pedantic people on the planet. But I could get licensed in Texas to practice there. I've been licensed long enough in Minnesota. Nunya Biz says, if you're attacked by a person with a gun, you defend yourself with a broom, no intent to kill, but somehow do by defending yourself. Are you guilty? If you're attacked by, no. Long story short, no. If you're attacked by someone with a gun, you can use any force necessary to defend yourself from that gun. Scarlock, read that one. Maxine Navarre says, there's a Papacitos at Little Chief Outpost in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. I don't think it's the Papacitos brand. It's a different. Papacitos that I'm talking about has 2 S's in it. And this Papacitos that you wrote has a C in it. And I don't think they're the same brand. I don't think it's Papa's Brothers. Al Fivra says there's 50 cal pneumatic rifles that you can buy online that are powerful enough to hunt deer, not considered firearms. Felons can own them. Very interesting. Steven says, reason I'm a fan of Ty Beard, he already has ready to ratify honor duel statutes crafted that he himself drafted. Ty, talk more on mutual combat. Maybe Sunshine says, how long does it take to do a spark test, and what are the steps to doing it with a taser gun? About 5 seconds. You pull it out, you press the button, it goes bzzz. They did one in court, and then that's it. That's it. Moose and Squirrel says, the Rust movie is now a first-person shooter. Jackson Kai says, out of curiosity, we've been over firearms, but does using a taser, when it's all you have, forfeit your right to deadly force? Say they die from it? No, well, look, there are risks of killing someone with a taser, but it's not considered deadly force. If they die from your use of a taser, you weren't intending to use deadly force, and the amount of force that you used was justified. So there's this idea is like the you take your victim as you find them, the glass skull theory of a victim, which comes mostly out of civil law. But if I walk up to someone and punch them in the face and they fall and hit their head and die, I'm liable for the death, whether or not I intended to cause that death. Now, I'm not going to get first-degree murder, probably, but a second or third degree based on me, being whatever, having an underlying assault, felony murder, whatever, however that shakes out, that's either going to be second or third degree murder, depending on the state. But that is for an assault. That is focused on the outcome of the death. And when you undertake to assault someone, you accept the risks that your assault might be more fruitful than you intended. When you defend someone, it's the amount, when you're defending against someone, it's the amount of force that you intend to use that matters, right? If I slap someone, like they're attacking me and I just, and then they hit their head on like a fireplace mantle and they bleed out and die, I'm not responsible for using deadly force because all I did was slap a bitch, right? Sorry, had to say it. That's all I did. My intentional force was the amount of force of the slap used in self-defense. The fact that they fell and hit their head, that goes on them because I didn't start the encounter. Bladed Cloud 6966 says, I hereby dub Ty's alternate Ty Evilbeard. Humongous Johnson says, Ty Beard, love Tyler. Plan on moving to Rose City soon myself. Jesus DeVilla says, in Kermit voice, calzones are superior to submarine sandwiches. I get it. You know it. Tiki71 says, show him your Rooster Ricada True Grift meme on Twitter. Where is that? Where's that? It's over here. Here, I'll show that real quick. So here it is. The True Grift. The True Grift. This is courtesy of Tiki71. There you go. There you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the memes. Thanks for the memery. Michael Burke. Ricada Law. When a lawyer tells non-lawyers bullshit about the law and there are no consequences when they're found out, that's how they end up dangling from the nearest tree in a perfect world. Whoa! Spicy. Whoo! Skunk Ape says, Nick, you rock. My lawyer wife and I have a blast listening to your panel and discussing the law. Keep it up. Hey, thanks, Skunk Ape. And shout out to your wife. She's out there doing the good work, I assume. Kyle Guerrero says, what are your thoughts on the 2 paramedics in Colorado charged with the death of a patient they gave ketamine to? I've seen this chat come up a couple times, but I haven't actually read up on the case. Someone sent it to me. Carlos Estrada says, Ty kind of looked like Shinji's father when he had the dark room, bright screen, his hands together. Get in the Ava, Shinji. Andrew Clark says, Google Kisho Tenketsu. It's a 4-act structure. Oh, are you talking about Japanese storytelling? Matt Hagen says, now would be a great time to talk about Dune. No, it wouldn't. Whale Ear says, Nick is the correct anime take. Japanese stories go completely off the rails every time. Get on a new set of rails and then go off those too. Which is why a lot of people like them, I think. Big Irish Jim says, I like to listen on a minimized window while I'm working, so whenever Ty Beard is on the panel, it sounds like Billy Bob Thornton has joined the stream. Turtle Lover says, I'm a 2L wanting to go into criminal defense. Is PD work, public defender work, worth the low pay? What would you recommend? Thanks for the stream. You and your guests are more credible than my professors. The benefit of public defender work is simple. You get a lot of experience really, really, really fast. You don't have to worry about billing. And you'll take a variety of cases, most likely. The downsides of public defender work is it's hard. It's a lot of work. You don't get to choose your clients. You're going to lose all the time. But it's really good experience. And the low pay, it'll pay off, right? It's very good experience. You go out of, you're going to make good connections being a public defender. If you decide to go out into solo practice, you're going to hand out your business card to a lot of people, and they're going to be probably repeat clients. If you did a good job as an appointed defender, they might hire you later when they do better drug deals or whatever. So, one thing you learn very quickly in criminal defense is that you will get repeat business, and depending on the type of criminal defense you're into, right? If you're doing drug crimes, theft crimes, you get people off, they're coming back. You'll get a chance again. I almost can promise you that if you get someone off that meth conviction, you're going to have another chance to bill them probably sooner than you think. It's going to happen. They're not they're not good at mitigating or modifying their behavior. So those are the benefits and downsides. You're going to work a lot. Depending on what public defender's office you're in. Look, if you're in a public defender's office in like a wealthy county in California, you make a lot of money. Or not a lot. You make six figures. You're at a public defender's office in rural Minnesota, you make like 55 grand. But you're in rural Minnesota. It doesn't cost that much to live out here. So it really depends where you are, what state you're in, what county you're in the state. But you can get a lot of work. You can work your ass off, but you're going to get a lot of experience. Trevor R says, cop tasers should have an audible alarm that says, taser, 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 when it's removed from the holster. Same for guns, but it says, shoot me, N-word. Every time you draw the gun, shoot me, nibba. Oh, my goodness. Music and Fiction says, you talk Federal Rule 53. What about Federal Rule 34? Ooh, that's where that picture of John Roberts and Ghislaine Maxwell came from. Decaf Geek says, evil parallel universe tie equals not a boomer. Merry Christmas. KFG says, Nick, get your eyes checked with therapeutic neurovision doc. Going to sleep by reading like that may be a vision issue. It's a narcolepsy issue. I'm pretty sure. Robert Thompson says, can you please take a few minutes to explain what sanctions are? What consequences can they bear on the attorneys? Sanctions are a court-imposed punishment. And what consequences can they be on the attorneys? They're vast and broad. They're really the court can be monetary. You have to pay for your screw up, or they can be, you lose the case, or they can be your license is suspended. And you're recommended for disbarment. I mean, those are the type. They could just be, you get arrested today, like a contempt charge. Sanctions are a recognized punishment for the court itself to impose on people. I've got to read today's super chats because it's getting towards the lateness. And I can't be up forever tonight because I got to be up early tomorrow. So we'll see how things go. Bear Business 1 says, Potter or Vic decision first. It's possible tomorrow's a Vic decision. Right before Christmas. Screw everybody over right before Christmas and then let people calm down over the holiday. Maybe that's it. Ruin people's Christmas, however you want to do it. It's very possible. Tyler Ventura says, had your stream on today. My dad overheard your closing song playing. He says, what is that song? Who sings that? That's kind of a neat tune. It's the best, man. It's the best. It's My Room Records, Whiskey Drinking Lawyer. I cannot be more thankful for that song. He composed it, wrote it, and performed it. And he just did it. I didn't know he was doing it. It was amazing. Incarnation Art says, Nick, how can I send you artwork for your awesome stream? Love the show, brother. If it's digital, you can either email it to me or DM to me on Twitter. If it's physical, you got to send it to my P.O. box. STFU says, dropping $2, just say F Jack Murphy. New dislike button says, did you read my super chat earlier today, the one about communism? I work in carpentry during the day because, some of us have real jobs. Lol, just kidding. I only get to watch during lunch, so I didn't see. New dislike button, I don't know if I did read it. I don't know if I did. I'm sorry. Andrew Clark says, have you seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet? No. I'm not in any rush to see any movies right now. This is a Brick O says, what's the broad stroke on jury pay and what indicators could there be that they're drawing it out? Guess I figured the worst case scenario. They get paid almost nothing. I mean, I can tell you what they get paid, and it might be $50 a day. I can't. Here, let me check. Hennepin County juror pay. So all jurors in Minnesota get $50 a day plus 56 cents per mile that they travel from home. They can be reimbursed for Uber or Lyft as an alternative to the per mile traveled. They can get reimbursed for a hotel if they live 60 miles or more away from the courthouse. And they get a flat per diem rate to cover meals and incidental expenses. That's if they stay overnight. If they choose to stay with a friend or relative rather than a hotel, they'll receive a flat per diem rate to cover the cost of meals and incidental expenses. But that, again, is only if you live 60 miles out. So $50 a day, 56 cents a mile. So what is that, $8 an hour? No. $6.50 an hour. Roughly. And they get lunch, Musa 180487 says, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas and thanks for the streams. Hey, Merry Christmas to you. Watching them while painting some 40K orcs has been my time filler at work for the last fortnight. Look, I'm actually really excited for when the trial's done in the between times. I'm hoping to have Az on to do some painting. I haven't done any painting in a long time, and I really want to do that. I like painting, and I would like to improve my technique. Bram Costa, thanks for the donation. James Deneen says, not only was he on the show, Tim refused to let the issue be talked about and yelled at his chat. Well, I mean, they talked about it a little bit. Wolfgang says, also, America is supposed to have 3 parties at least. We have to be a republic, so an insurrection party, the Republican Party should be yay/nay. Ryan Clark says, D-Day Cobra did a 20-minute video about Tim Pool simping for him. He's just a rage merchant. Eric the Red says, so when is the Drex and Natalie live stream happening? I'm sure she'd love it. Oh, yeah. I can see that going so well. I think that'd be great. Kurt, you got to answer Steven in the chat. He's calling you out. There you go. Stephen Robertson says, please check email for a short video I sent. Promise it's worth it. I don't know. I've had people burn me on promises before. Where is my... Where's my email? I might have closed it out. Too many tabs. Okay, here we go. I see it. How long is this video?
Okay, so this is a
What the fuck is this video that you sent me? Or you guys get to suffer through this with me.
okay, so this is a video today about this Philadelphia pizza shop that was gonna be attempted to be robbed, right?
Like, of all things you could send me, this is it. And the subject is fine, but
If you actually go watch the video yourself, it's like a 30-second long video. I actually went and watched the video just
do they show the video? I'm not gonna listen to this person for 5 minutes. No. Nope. The hell is that? What is going on? I don't understand. Oh, hey. Over on Odyssey. Thomas, Zerebzan. Dude, I'm so bad at pronouncing Polish. Thomas sent me a bunch of Liberty coin. Thank you, Thomas. Very much appreciated. It says Merry Christmas. Radicalized Ryan sent a Merry Christmas sticker as well. And Engine Idiot says, "Hey Nick, would you be kind enough to plug My Room Records GoFundMe for his daughter?" Is that still going? I didn't know if that was still going. Yeah. Tell you what, I'm going to do it tomorrow in the middle of the big show. I'll do it there. Yeah. That Peter version 1, I just grabbed it. Calm down. I'm getting there. Bram Costa says, "I'm a felon, bail jumping from drinking on bail. I'm also in law school. I don't want this shit to happen to more vets. Am I signing up for a career of judgments and losing?" Well, I mean, if you sign up for criminal law, the common idea is that you're probably signing up to lose most of your cases. If your idea of winning is full acquittals, you're going to lose. But what most defense attorneys will tell you is you need to reframe your idea of what winning is, because your winning is representing your client to the maximum and getting them the most appropriate legal outcome. But if your idea of winning is, oh, I'll win an acquittal every time, you won't. You just aren't going to. So, Stephen, what did you again? Stephen Robertson, what is that video you sent me? I mean, it's that person talking about the shooting. I'm just confused as to like what version of. Anyway, Terranagas says, "This stuff will make you a gosh darn metrosexual tyrannosaurus, just like me." Christopher Nicholson says, "Nerd games are okay as long as your crack doesn't show while playing them." Nerd games are fine, but don't think you're like an alpha gym bro pussy slayer because you play Magic the Gathering. It's likely not true. That's okay. You don't have to be. Most people probably don't want to be that guy. Alex Zbajev says, people have got to know whether or not their alpha male is a cuck. Well, I am not a cuck. That was my bad Richard Nixon impression. Tyler Lawrence says, thanks for all you do. Been such a good channel to watch. Hey, thanks, Tyler. I appreciate that. STFU says, the problem is that he shit on Sydney. Vernon Copeland says, it's his behavior. He is a grifter. LJ says, there's no better bang for the buck than Buffalo Trace paying $5 for you to tell me I'm wrong. Also, I love this. I'm a newbie here since the Kyle trial. You know what? My Nixon impression is better than Murphy's chat impression. Okay, that was good. That was very funny. Look, Buffalo Trace, you know what you're getting, and you're enjoying what you're getting. And that's the sign of a good whiskey. As long as it's not sour and terrible. There's some sour. America bourbon, sad. Very sad. Unlikable whiskey. Not good. Very ungood. Chad Parsons says, God, this hair. I can't wait to order my new, I'm going to get some new in-ear monitors. Think they're going to take a little while to make, but I'm getting them. I'm tired of these over-the-ear giant muffs. Chad Parsons says, in regards to the dumpster folk, would retreat be a de-escalation if they would put the mattress back in the dumpster as soon as the Beach Boys left? I don't know exactly what you mean. If either party just walks away a couple steps, it's fine. Everything's the confrontation is over. Either side just walks away. As long as the other one doesn't follow them, you're good. Both parties, either party at that time could have ended that confrontation. And that's a big problem. Stooge Muffin Stuff and says, on a completely unrelated note, I managed to get my hands on a copy of the platinum version of Ava for $200. Watching it for the first time and halfway through the series. It's very interesting so far. I like it. I like it a lot. I doubt it. Take your swing. SoCal Patriot says, oh, Chad, let's not get back on pepperoni nips. Vernon Copeland says, Poole is a defender. Look at the money he charges. He is preying on the weak. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I know I read that one. 1970s Viva Fry says, let childless Tim Poole tell you how to raise your children. Aaron Smithy says, let us all consider what poor RA the asshole must be going through right now. Who's RA? Let us all consider what poor RA the asshole must be going through now. I don't know what that means. 10 says, the great law tubining. Thank you, Nick. Hey, thank you. Amateur Ant says, I want to hear more about this date Jack and Elijah had after the show. I wonder if butt stuff happened. Oh, come on. Don't do Elijah dirty like that. He didn't earn that. JJ Joestar says, man, if Jack is mad, I wonder how his wife's boyfriend feels. Chat, no matter what R.A. the rugged, the Tugger man, the dude who flipped out on Timcast. Oh, I didn't watch that. I only heard about that. You know what I can always count on, chat? I can always count on you to be absolutely savage and merciless. It's beautiful. It's a sight to behold. Vernon Copeland says Poole must be an investor. SCFU says, Ricada Law, but I'm fighting the NRA. You need me. Harvey Weinstein. Vernon Copeland says, you're the man. Hey, thanks. Thanks, brother. Andy, the game maker, says Saint Nick, not applicable, said this before. Like Tim, he's just not articulate. Jason Oppenheimer says, need a little spice. Snap into Ricada Law. Oh, yeah. Need a little spice. Snap into Ricada Law. Oh, yeah. Vernon Copeland says, don't do the crim if you can't do the time. Love your streams. Hey, thank you. The Visitor and Forgotten People says, Tim is a grifter by definition. Every political activist does. Vernon Copeland says, look up his fees for his hypocritical wisdom. Yeah, a lot of people have sent me some information about the liminal order price structure. Look, my views on things is if you charge it and people pay it, you get to make the decision on if more people would buy it if you lowered price, right? You make it more accessible. Do you broaden the base? Or do you make it more exclusive, shrink the base, but build loyalty and dedication or cultivate a particular audience? I don't know the answer. Right. There's a point where a higher price denotes some seriousness to the consumer and maybe they want that kind of buy-in. That's not up to me. If you can charge it and people will pay it, good on you. Good on you. I haven't charged anything specific yet, except for, my, well, I had Patreon. I kind of still have one, but Patreon and locals is the main thing that I have. And I hope people enjoy them. I do, but oh, by the way, if you are a subscriber to Patreon or to locals, sorry, brain, if you are a subscriber to locals, be on the lookout in the next couple days because I'll be generating a thank you code to all of the subscribers there for Christmas, and it should get you some locals time for free, a little bit of free locals time amongst friends. And so it's just it's my way of saying thank you to all of those people. But be on the lookout. I want to make sure and get the message. I don't have the ability to just not charge for like a month or something. I don't think. I'm checking into it, but I think the way I have to do it is through promo codes, which I'll be doing. But if that's the way, but if I can do it a different way, if I can just make it easy and give everybody a free month, I'll do that too. So, or month or two or whatever. I just appreciate the support, and it's my way of saying thank you at Christmas time to people. STFU says no canceling. Murphy should have the class to go away. Concealed Aces says, does he also hang out with CNN producers while saying little girl? Ooh. Vernon Copeland says, you reap what you plant. Jiffy the Magic Elf says, hit and run donation. Sorry, can't watch tonight. Never apologize. D says, John fired from his job for comments about 18 in that blog. When Antifa unmasked Jack the synonym, he was 40 then. The comments were about 15-year-olds. He was defending his work 3 months ago. No. I want to be very clear. Those 3 months ago chats that have been circulating around, I'm 99% sure that's 3 months ago when the archive snapshot was taken. Okay, so here, I'll show you. So this was published on October 9th, 2015. The snapshot, this is as of January 18th of 2016. So when you scroll down to the comments and you see 3 months ago, oh shit, I didn't show you guys. Sorry. Here, let's do this again. So article written October 9th, 2015, timestamp of the archive, 18th of January, 2016. Okay. And then when you scroll down to the comments, you got 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 months ago. These 3 months ago are 3 months from this date. So I don't want to misrepresent anything. I don't think he was defending it 3 months ago. He was defending it back in 2016 or 2015 still. So, Nick, hope you have the same stanimum. What's a stanimum? So yeah, and again, when Drexel's here, we're going through the article, we're going through the comments because he's interactive in the comments. We'll take a look at it. We'll laugh. We'll laugh because that's what life is for. Enjoy it. Wolfgang Deo says, if Marbury versus Madison 1803 was wrongly decided, then we need to resolve it. Does not matter if a system is built on it, it will get worse. No one's going to resolve it. No one's going to change Marbury versus Madison. I say it's wrongly decided, but the court decided it wasn't. And the court gave itself power, and the court likes that power. Bob Piffle says, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll assume you answered Mr. Furley, which is the correct answer. You win. Merry Christmas. I don't even know what the question was. Awig, stamina is what I assumed, but that's not what was written. Please read it in Richard's voice, the article. Can you imagine? I've had sex slaves, little girls, and tied them all up. Feminists seek me out to fuck them like the patriarchy. And I've just sent my 15-year junior girlfriend to bang Matt from Tinder. Why? He's not saying she's 15 years old. He's saying she's 15 years younger, by the way. That's what that typically means. The 15-year junior, 15 years my junior would be the idea there. I think if I take that in a charitable light. So that's yeah. There we go. We haven't even gotten to the part where he talks about raping his wife or girlfriend or whatever over and over. Here we go. Rape certainly is about bridging a gap, as it were, and it inherently contains a certain anonymity to it. These lines. Whew. Oh man, that's taken out of the context of the article, but again, this is all just a preview. You don't want to miss that episode. That episode is going to be funny. 1970s Viva Fry says, you're not a boomer, you're a poser Gen Xer. Oh. Not applicable says, how much suction does praising mods earn you here? I don't know. Do Dark Lush G. Dark Lucy HG. Dark Loot Change. Darkle Loot Change. I don't know. Off topic, but I think it would be interesting if you got Wendigoon on. He covers various topics like conspiracy theories and serial killers, as well as Bible-related content. Cool dude, in my opinion. Never heard of him. Lord Vader says, noob here, more law, less Tim Pool, please. Well, look, the night show goes where it goes. Moroatia says, blessed Yuletide, dude. Hey, back at you. Thank you. Hugo Ailman says, happy holidays, Nick. You too, buddy. Circus Zero, thank you. Zara BP says, do they give you any money for these? No. Boomer Wow says, if it makes you feel better, the free super chats are 50 carat. Chief Slinging Beef says, new viewers, sir, appreciate you. Suggestions on a good book that may tie law and history that you like. Civil War era stuff, F the 17th Amendment. I couldn't tell you. They don't have you read those types of books in law school unless you take an elective that takes care of that. The books we read were case books. That's basically it. I'm sure there are some great ones, but I'm not the guy. Just go read the Federalist Papers, maybe help you out. Those are important. If you want to understand some of the theory behind our system of government, that's a great way to do it. But yeah, I have the books I have from law school are not great ones. Let's see. Sketch EM says, I'm weird. I sip Johnny Black and Jack Rye neatly. That's not that weird. I'll take Johnny Black at a bar because I know the bottle will be fresh. Jack Daniel's Rye, I don't know. I've never had the Jack Rye. Eldritch Blasted says, never did watch the D&D game you did last year. Would be cool to see a LawTube game with you, Kurt, Runkle, and Ty. Could just be 10 sessions of Runkle arguing you acted in self-defense when you killed Kurt's character. Back off. Take your swing. Green Nanja says, are you going to watch Medicare stream on New Year's Eve? I don't know. It depends what I'm up to. Green Nanja says, Strategic Defense Concept says, what are the rainbow colored bottles behind you? My girlfriend is driving me nuts to guess and won't STFU about it. She thinks it's for art. Please help. They're paints. They're paints for miniatures, like Warhammer miniatures or this. Like this is one of the. So I've been working on this guy for a while. I've got a lot of highlighting to do and detail work, but yeah, so that and like this. Type of stuff. So this goes on this goes back here like that. But yeah, so that's what they're really for smaller figures than that, but that's what I do with them. Not enough. I need to spend more time doing it. That's gayer than art. Nerd. Yeah, that's fine. Zara BP, those are Army Painter. Army Painter. Soul Drinkers are great. Soul Drinkers are fucking cool. Great books, by the way. Just fun. Fun chapter. Freedom Fighter says Jack's girlfriend was 15 at the time and he was almost 40, according to his own words. I think he means 15 years his junior. I don't think he meant his 15-year-old girlfriend. God, I hope not. But I think he probably meant 15 years younger. That's just wrong. Screaming at a woman also isn't manly for a guru. No, it really wasn't. I mean, again, I think people might be over focusing on the Sydney thing. I think the Sydney thing is a nice deflection for Jack to think people are over focusing on, is more what I mean. But it's less about it. It didn't come off right. None of that came off right. Again, look, I set a boundary and she crossed it. Well, sorry. Maybe you think you're the dominant. His whole thing is about being like a dominant versus submissive or whatever. Maybe you think you're the dominant there, but she's not your sub. So it doesn't really work, right? Like if a femdom comes up to me and is like down on the floor, I'll be like, fuck you. I don't care about you. I don't fuck with you. Tell me whatever you want. Go back to your little gimp or whatever. Boss him around. I don't care. But yeah, Sydney's not his sub, I don't think. So I don't know why that would be his go-to sort of muscle up on it. That was weird. It just came across. It came across very. I think, yeah, very wrong, very weird. Alex Goldberg says, curious why you think Earl Grey Teabag didn't make the same case you did. Difference between civil versus criminal standards of negligence seems like slam dunk if they explained it to a jury. Merry Christmas. I think he got wrapped up in doing a lot of stuff. Reading or trying to respond to them. Awig says it came across the same as the person that wrote the article. To be fair, yeah, kind of. But yeah, the sorry, let me get back to that. I think Earl Grey, you know, you've got to respond to what they said on their close. Plus, you have to incorporate your own close. And I think they got wrapped up in this causation thing, trying to knock it out ahead of the game. And part of the theory, I think Ty talked about it, maybe this is right, is you got to give them someone to blame. Because right now they're like, well, someone's dead. We got to blame someone. Right now we're blaming Kim Potter. They're trying to refocus that target onto Dante Wright. He got to blame himself. Whether or not that's effective or not, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Scorpio 04 says, Nick, the salamanders should be the focus of all Space Marines, not the Ultramarines. Just saying. Salamanders are cool. They're very cool. Finance guy says, what is the average amount of attempts to pass the bar exam? My cousin is soon to take it for the third time. Look, I passed it on my first try. I think somewhere around half the people passed it on their first try when I took it. Then the next semester the next test was worse for people. But the thing about the bar exam is it's not actually a good indicator of who will be a good lawyer. It's just a barrier to entry. But people who take the bar exam on their like third try and pass it or whatever, they end up making very good lawyers sometimes. People who pass on the first time make very bad lawyers sometimes. So it's not the best test, but it's the best we got. And we need some sort of test. I'm not for you pass law school. Therefore, like if you're going to have licensure, have a requirement. Or just get rid of licensure, because I think that would be viable too, in all honesty. So long as you don't misrepresent, or make licensure optional, let people hire unlicensed attorneys so long as they know they're not licensed. That might be an option. I'm not like for this regulatory structure, but it is the regulatory structure that we have. Bob Bibble says, all right, brother, I've had too much in the early times and I have to get up early the day after tomorrow. Favorite nonfiction book, favorite fiction book, be ye well. My favorite nonfiction book is hard to say. I have some like stupid answers. Like the Book of Five Rings was a pretty cool nonfiction book. I'm looking around at my bookshelf. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite nonfiction book that I could easily point to. My favorite fiction book is a 2-part series, Ilium and Olympus by Dan Simmons. I think they're great. I think it's one of the better stories that I've ever read. A lot of fun. Strong recommend. Oh, my favorite nonfiction book is the Bible. Okay. MD says, enjoy the toasted rye. I will, brother. Thank you so much. Sam Walters, thank you for the donation. Not Applicable says, I don't drink, but here's to Chad. We're here for you, bud. Aki Kama says, Soder mutes people in your Discord for no reason. Muting removes them from seeing and talking in all channels. He did this nonstop to cast Michael for 0 reason. Well, I'll have to ask him about it, man. I'll have to ask him about it. Cars in Depth says, patents are expensive to benefit the patent bar. Wolfgang Deo says, in a galaxy far, far away, jury is still deliberating. Senmine says, the next time you have a Texas boys back on, you should ask them if noodles belong in chili. Was thinking that on the whole cereal soup, which it is. Oh, cereal soup, which it is. Noodles do not belong in chili. Ew. No. Luke B says, if one is motivated to practice law and has a letters degree and their sister is an ADA already, is 36 too old to go to law school? No. If you can absorb the cost and the time commitment, then no. That's all it. Not Applicable says, Vic's appeal has to be tomorrow. It'd be too funny. Wolfgang Deo says, it would be peak masculinity to exude apex predator into the realm of souls, push out the other guy, and then sex your girlfriend through their body. What? Really now says, only thing that moves on the dude's face that moves are the eyebrows. Peter Vergion says, I just joined. You're going to get a gray hair in 2 years. Sometimes we'll find a gray beard hair from time to time, but Mo Zamboni says, why did Helen Keller's dog run away? You'd run away too if your name was Pride or Honesty said, buddy, that crime family rant deserves its own super chat. Thank you. Luke B says, mental laziness. That's what's frustrating you. Michael W says, the fact Potter's joke didn't land well about the Wright family with Johnson might show she knew something she didn't, seeing he saw the other patrols. Clark Terry fan says, had a fight with a girlfriend today. Long distance relationships are tough. Yeah. I don't know how you do them. Don't know how you do them at all. He dyes his hair. I do not. I wouldn't. The lady, I've said this a million times. I feel like Jack Murphy here. I'm addressing this over and over again. Lady Rackets loves gray hair. That salt and pepper look, that'll only benefit me. So no, I wouldn't dye my hair at all. Pee Wee Pierre says, all out weird the judge choose Sims. With the way the jury is going, Kim Potter might want to become a lesbian to survive jail. Okay, here it is. Bob Piffle. Sorry, I missed this chat earlier. He says, we need a short sidebar. Mr. Roper or Mr. Furley. Potential award or reward at stake. Choose wisely. My shot. Rot gut early times. Raise them up and Merry Christmas, Nick. Merry Christmas to you, Bob. I'm going to pick Mr. Furley because I saw the answer earlier. So that's what I go for. Get just one last little whiskey in there as we get towards the end. Eric L says the harpy taxpayers get her fired. Wolfgang Deo says, I want someone to bring up my past. It will destroy them. Sure, I have been and am kinky, but also I recognize monogamy no matter what. No cuckoo. Peter version 1 says, it has been shown CIA agents being pedophiles. No criminal charges were done against them. This woman, even if she made a mistake, don't make her the scapegoat. Stop yelling, man. You'll lose your hair. There's a lot to unpack in that chat, and I'm not sure what it's all in reference to. BX says, watching CNN, Communist News Network, makes me lose brain cells about every time. Enjoy your show, man. Been watching since the Rittenhouse case. Hey, thanks. Jack Hudler says they exist on CNN because they're not competent in the courtroom. Why else is she a former? Peter version 1 says, last time I heard you yell like this, the woman on Star Wars who wouldn't tell Poe the plan. What is a tautology? Too lazy to look it up. The tautology is saying something is something because it is something. I think. I'm pretty sure that's a tautology. Alex Goldberg says, can you explain what it's actually like in a jury room? Is it just like a free-for-all? Nope, never been in one. But typically, from my understanding, because I've never been called for jury duty. Never been called, never been turned down or anything. They just never gotten the letter. But typically, what you end up doing is electing a 4-person, right? You're sitting at a table, and there's coffee and a bunch of exhibits available to you, and you sit down at the table, you elect a 4-person, and then they start kind of going through the charges, and you just try and determine what people think, and you vote from time to time anonymously at first. Then when you get tired of it, you vote non-anonymously and determine where people are on the not guilty versus guilty thing. And then you just keep working it out and talking it out and trying to figure out how to get somebody on your side so you can go home. BX says, how do lawyers stay awake in a boring case? Because you have to. That's it. You have to. Gooby says, Goobas, outside of financial hardships, assuming a hung jury, what are your thoughts on the retrial of Potter? Is it more helpful or hurtful to the defense? Any verdict other than guilty is helpful to the defense. You love a not guilty verdict, but you'll take a hung jury 10 days out of 10 over a guilty verdict. So, because eventually the state might decide that they can't do the case anymore. They won't be able to succeed. They don't want to take the time, whatever it is. They don't want to be embarrassed by losing again. They get unelected and different people come in. So it's a tough one. It's more helpful to the defense, in my opinion. Bram Costa says, I'm a felon for bail jumping, drinking on bail. I am also going to law school. Am I going to be a pariah? Should I stop trying to prevent traumatized vets from losing the rights they died for? The answer to your second question is no. Don't stop. If that's what you want to do, don't stop doing it. Are you going to be a pariah because of drinking on bail? What were you on bail for? Did you beat that charge? I don't think so. Law is one of the most forgiving professions. As long as you don't have a crime of dishonesty, it's one of the most forgiving professions with a criminal history. Your mental illness says Ron Toye likes his coffee like he likes his women, filled with a stranger's semen. Whoa. Wow. SCFU says, by the way, in my opinion, Ty was a bit harsh with Natalie today. You're not the first person to give that feedback, but that's the thing about this channel. I try to let everybody have their say, and I let other people make up their mind about what that person said. Alex Goldberg says, why didn't Earl Grey Teabag make the case more clearly like you have about civil versus criminal standards so jury understands? Seems like the entire case. I don't know, but Earl Grey is a very accomplished attorney who gets paid a whole lot to defend some of the highest profile cases in Minnesota. So, he knows what he's doing. I mean, whether he executed that day, if he doesn't feel like he executed that day, he's probably going to be the harshest critic on himself. Ryoji Mata says, imagine being a former defense attorney on Commie News Network and simping for the prosecution and then lying about the rear the rest of the time. Yep. Plastic African says, contract law exists because one's promise is not enough. You know that saying, oh shit. Where'd it go? It skipped on me. He says, you know that saying, first professions were hookers and lawyers? Ha! Law in Chuya. Law in Chuya. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but the first professions were hookers and the lawyers that represented them. That's true. Uncivil Law says Rule 69 is all about the execution. Wolfgang Deo says, do they cover the UCMJ in law school? No. But I mean, you basically cover federal law at a high level, and they give you the tools to understand whatever law. Patrick B., me too. Me too. Stephen Robertson says another $4.99 for the look on your face. You troll. Alex Goldberg says, curious about my earlier question about Earl Grey Teabag. I just got to it. Stephen Robertson says, great legal analysis. Thank you. C. John says, should we make the prosecutors work for the amount that jury gets paid to speed up trials during the trial? Yeah, pay the prosecutors when they're not prosecuting someone instead. That'd be great. Bram Costa says, I wasn't asking if I'd win all the time, brother. I was asking my past would prevent me from defending my clients. It should not. It should not. But if you really want to know, go to the career office at your law school and talk about your past with them. Say, hey, I got this. I don't think a bail jumping charge is going to, even a conviction for bail jumping, I don't think that's going to preclude you from practicing law and being a force for good for people. 2D Harem King Jack says, we need more Nixon. Here, Nick, take my shekels. Jimmy from Philly Wipe says, so I tapped the cleaning girl on the shoulder. Cops came. They left. Then she emptied an entire fire extinguisher on my floor. I go to bar, come back arrested for threats. Hired Nino Tenari. Wait, did that really happen? You tap the cleaning girl on the shoulder. Cops come and leave. Then she empties a fire extinguisher on the floor. You go to bar and come back and you get arrested for threatening her. That's wild. Bobby Broadway says, just don't bring it up in regards to bail jumping. Well, here's the thing. When you're completing law school, you have to be recommended for fitness to the state. The state has to accept and license you. They don't have to give you a license to be a lawyer. And so fitness and character is part of it. So it is a valid concern. It is a valid concern, but I don't think that automatically will impact your fitness and character referral for things. That you have to be honest about it. You can't ignore it because they do a lot of research into your background and they will find stuff like that for sure. Alex Goldberg asked the question about Earl Grey again, but I have now read it. So I don't know why Earl did what he did or why he chose what he did. But again, he's a skilled attorney and he chose what he chose to do. BEX says, I wonder if the boyfriends of the wives of Binger and Jack know each other. Tyler Lawrence says, Binger loves you. Jonathan Duger says, Google man, taser, fire. You won't be disappointed. I'm not going to do it right now. It's late. I got to get to bed. Jimmy from Philly Wipe says, I'm also a regular on the Hard Bastard. Oh, yeah. Hard Bastard's, I haven't talked to him in like 2 years or something. Wonder how he's doing. Tyler Lawrence says, Binger loves your sideburns. Corrections 101 says, do Richards being cold called in law school by a law professor to explain promissory estoppel? So I'm supposed to be Richards answering the phone? Hello? Hi. Yeah, this is Mark. Yeah, Richards, right. Yeah. Okay. What is this in regards to? Promissory estoppel? Isn't that? I mean, that's why now I'm curious what you're going to promise me. And then what I'm going to miss out on. Okay. Well, that's inappropriate. I'm not sure why you're. No, I don't like it inside. Thank you. Okay. There you go. Gunblade Knight says, did you see about the Joshua Spellman, Andrew Dixon shooting? And do you believe it was justified? I did not. Alex Goldberg says, I'm like $69 into buying chats, but curious your thoughts on why Earl Grey teabag didn't make your case. Civil versus criminal standards is clear for the jury. Sorry you sent all those chats, brother. Except, no, I'm not. Calvin Pontius, message retracted. Alex Goldberg says, would love your answer in Your Honor voice to my Earl Grey teabag question. Lee Nichols says, after the labia, the next place the hedonist look is into the balloon knot. There you go. Eric the Red says, a femdom. Who do you think you are, Attorney Tom? James Curran says, Revenge of the Sis sent me here. Glad they did. Oh, cheers to those guys. Always had good experiences with old Royce and Mersch. So cheers to Revenge of the Sis. Wolfgang says, Soder is awesome. Being muted is nothing. Beaches. Neozede says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hey, back at you. Jimmy from Philly Wipe says, streamed your show on my channel for Rittenhouse. I have hilarious lawyer stories. You got an email. Yeah, it's in the description. Ricada@ricada.org. Wolfgang Deo says, do they cover UCMJ in law school? You asked that earlier. No, not. I mean, you might get a mention of it if you take an elective. You could get it, but typically no. But you can The UCMJ is not a super dense and robust piece of literature. So you could just kind of pull up the sections you need, and the basic principles of law that they teach in law school will help you with most UCMJ issues. STFU FFS says false. Hookers are lawyers and lawyers are hookers. There's a reason one job is called a solicitor and the other is guilty of soliciting. Brian Miller says, is there a jury show today? Yes, there is. It is in 6 hours and 30 minutes. Bishop Craig says, hate to bug you again. Still hoping you can look at my brother's FIL self-defense case. Shot his son after LEOs feared to enter property. Help Pete Sharp. Bishop, did you email me on that? I hope you did. I hope you did. And then finally, I think that's it. I think that is it. Wolf King Daniel says, do they cover the UCMJ in Flaw School? Yes, in Flaw School they do. They do. Okay. What was that? Bishop Craig. Okay, I'll check my email for it, buddy. James Curran says Boston Legal. Thoughts? Never watched it. I don't watch like legal shows. They get Law and Order was on when I came home from taking the bar, and I sat down for about 5 seconds. My dad was watching it, and then I left because I couldn't stand it. But I just never had much interest in legal TV shows, and they're all wrong. Oh, wait. There's one that I watched that was really fun called The Grinder with Rob Lowe and who was the other kid? Is it Ralph Macchio? Not Ralph Macchio. Fred Savage. Fred Savage and Rob Lowe. That was a funny show. That was a very funny show. I liked it a lot. The Grinder was good. Frozen Smoke says Aaron Elridge is Gollum. We need Runkle the Elf to take her down. Bob Piffle says, how much would it cost to hire you to host my Zoom Dungeons and Dragons sessions as a DM, but spoken in Richard's voice? Man, I am not more. It would cost an infinite amount because I'm not DMing anything. I do not like, I respect DMs immensely for their ability to do that. For me, I just like to play. I don't have the time and fortitude to invest in crafting a campaign and putting it into action. People who do that, I bow to their ability. But all right, guys, that's the show. That's it. It's over. What are you doing here? I'm going to go to bed. And I'll see you guys. See you guys in, like I said, about 6.5 hours. Icon of Sin. I can't do Twitch tonight. I was hoping Potter was going to be done on Tuesday at the latest, and then Tuesday night tonight, we're going to be just gravy or Tuesday. Yeah. And then, that I'd be able to just hang out on Twitch and do all the fun stuff. Been playing Diablo 2 and, I'm enjoying that. So that I was hoping that would be the case, but it's not. These jurors keep fucking up my plans. Asia Frazier says no Perry Mason for Nick. No hallucinosis. It says, can you better explain taco cuckoldry within the sphere of Jack Murphy? Okay. I can. If you've ever watched them construct tacos at a Taco Bell, Taco Supremes, all right? I probably just alienated too many of the audience by saying I was done before this, but if you've ever watched them construct a Taco Supreme at a Taco Bell, they have a caulk gun full of sour cream, right? It's so disgusting. And they just go, And this big line of sour cream comes out. One click. Just one taco. Just click. Taco cuckoldry is when you buy the taco, you take it home, you give the taco back to the Uber Eats driver. He drives it back to the Taco Bell, and some greasy Taco Bell employee glukes his sour cream right into that taco, and then it comes back, and you just and you got sour cream in that mustache and beard, someone else's sour cream. That's taco cuckoldry. That's what it is. Don't do it. Don't do it. No sour cream on that taco. Wolfgang Deo says you are now breathing manually. He says, I bet you like a conch stream at Taco Bell. Peace. No, disgusting. Disgusting. So there you go, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig, the spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter, as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dundee to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter, as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what